broke into his dad's safe, took 5 guns, then carried out the attack, which saw almost 200 bullets fired into CDC buildings and the death of DeKalb police officer David Rose. GBI Director Chris Hosey says White was then found dead inside a nearby CVS.
The shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Further forensic testing of the firearms evidence will be conducted by the GBI Crime Lab.
More than 500 shell casings are found at the scene. In DeKalb County, Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
It's going to be mostly cloudy today. Some heavy rain and a few thunderstorms throughout the day, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Afternoon high 85. She'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast coming up at 12:05. Tropical storm Erin is gaining strength. It could become the Atlantic's first hurricane of the season. It's still too far away, though, to know if it will impact the U.S. coast. We, of course, will be watching. All right, if you have been to the beach or are planning on going, listen up. Cases of flesh-eating bacteria on the rise in Florida. At least 16 people have gotten infected and 5 people have now died after contracting it. Dr. William Schaffner is an infectious disease specialist at Vanderbilt.
This bacteria, which has the name Vibrio vulnificus, lives in briny water, warm water, along the edge of the ocean.
He says if you have a cut on your body, the bacteria can get in, and while infections are rare, they could lead to serious illness or death for some. After a long discussion, the DeKalb County School Board voting to add hundreds of vape detection devices to the district's high schools. The district's Keisha Town says the devices will detect THC and nicotine products used in hard-to-detect areas like bathrooms.
And send instant alerts to designated staff when thresholds are met, allowing for real-time intervention without compromising student privacy.
She says the devices are also tamper-resistant. The price tag for these detectors, $1.6 million. In the city of South Fulton, City Hall is closed today because of an electrical panel failure. The building is currently without full electrical service. In order to safely replace that panel, the electrical feed to the facility has to be temporarily shut down. So as a result, City Hall will be closed to the public for the remainder of the day. All public meetings, though, scheduled for today have been relocated to Welcome All Park Recreation Center. Atlanta Braves legend Dale Murphy is closing his restaurant at the Cobb Galleria. The closure coming ahead of a major $190 million renovation and expansion project at the Galleria. In Cobb County, commissioners there taking up a funding proposal tonight to bring more pickleball courts to Marietta.
The county board is deciding on a plan to spend $850,000 to add 4 more pickleball courts to Oregon Park. The Marietta Park, located on Hamilton Road, already has 6 pickleball courts on site, as well as other rec facilities like baseball fields, escape rooms, and a playground. The new funding proposal would also be used to improve handicapped access and for a new restroom facility. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
All right, there is a hand soap and lotion product recall you need to know about. Products made by Dermarite are being recalled today because they may be contaminated with a dangerous bacteria that could cause sepsis. And this poses little medical risk to those who are healthy, but if it's used by immunocompromised people, it could spread into the bloodstream and trigger life-threatening sepsis. Dermarite's recalled products were distributed throughout the United States. So far, the company has not gotten any reports of any adverse events related to this recall. We have more information at WSBradio.com. There's another 90-day extension in the trade war truce between the United States and China, both countries announcing the delay hours before sky-high triple-digit levies were set to go into effect today. The new deadline will keep tariffs on Chinese imports at 30%, while China's duties on U.S. imports will remain at 10%, at least for now. And while we're talking about your money, July's inflation report is better than expected. The Labor Department shows the Consumer Price Index, which shows how much we're paying for things, was up 0.2% from June. Now, many economists say the report should be evidence that President Trump's tariffs are not leading to a spike in inflation, and it's now safe to cut rates, possibly as soon as September. We'll be watching. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 471 at 44,446. So the Dow is up more than a full percent. NASDAQ is up almost a full percent. And the S&P not far behind. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center, and he has a look at your Tuesday afternoon roads.
Well, Sabrina, we have cleaned up the ride on the south side perimeter, 285 eastbound, the outer loop, Flat Shoals, exit 48, where we had that earlier car fire that's been doused and cleared. Now we have a stalled big rig in the center lane in Stockbridge, 75 southbound at Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224. That's slowing you as you leave I-675. And just found a stalled car in Marietta near Truist Park, 75 South Windy Hill Road, exit 260. That's in the center lane, causing the brake lights from Delk Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Time now for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta.
Mostly cloudy, warm, and muggy today with a high of 85. That will allow scattered rain showers and thunderstorms to develop this afternoon and evening. Some of these storms may be locally heavy with some areas of flash flooding possible, then tapering off for tomorrow morning, lows in the low 70s. Tomorrow afternoon, mostly cloudy with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms, high 84. The rain chances trending down for Thursday, but the temperature trending up to a high of 88. Partly cloudy skies for Friday and Saturday with highs in the upper 80s to low 90s.
81 degrees in Duluth. It's 82 in Holly Springs. College Park has 81 degrees. We'll have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. It's Eric Erickson here across the United States. 877-973-7425 is the phone number, should you wish to be on the program. Friends, I have a piece of advice for Donald Trump. I know how to physically wipe out the Democrats overnight. I don't mean this to be hysterical. I don't mean it to be hyperbolic. And I know it'll come across as incendiary to a number of people. But I know how Donald Trump can fairly immediately exterminate the Democrats. Like, I don't know that we have enough caskets available for the amount of funerals that we would have. It would be an amazing near genocide level event, and it would be perfectly legal. Listen, I hesitate. I hesitate to go down this road, but in light of recent events, I think I need to. I know how Donald Trump can eliminate the Democrats. I hesitate to use the word exterminate, but essentially, Donald Trump has the capacity to physically annihilate, wipe out, kill every Democrat everywhere overnight in a perfectly legal way. And I know it's extraordinary. And I, as a radio show host, a conservative Christian radio show host, I hesitate to get out on this road, but I'm watching these events, and I know how he can do it. And it would be perfectly legal. There would be no legal consequence for it. I mean, there wouldn't be any Democrats left to even pursue him. But just, I mean, it's he has real power here. All Donald Trump needs to do to exterminate the Democrats, an extinction level event, physical extinction level event for the Democrats, is say he believes breathing is good, because every single last damn Democrat in America will hold their breath and die. Because just consider events. Donald Trump decides that illegal immigrants need to be deported. What does the Democratic Party do? Rally to the illegal immigrants. When Donald Trump says foreign gangbangers need to be deported from the United States, what do the Democrats do? Rally to protect the foreign gangbangers. And now Donald Trump is saying that crime in the District of Columbia is bad. And what are the Democrats doing? Saying crime does not exist, and if it does exist, it's good. If Donald Trump today tells Democrats breathing is good, every Democrat in America is going to hold their breath until they die. He will wipe out the Democratic Party. He will kill every Democrat in the country, and actually it will be suicide on their part. They will all hold their breath and refuse to breathe if Donald Trump says oxygen is good or breathing is good. That's where we are as a country. If Donald Trump says something is bad, Democrats say it's good. If Donald Trump says it's good, Democrats say it's bad. He's now got the Democrats on the side of the gangbangers and murderers in Washington, D.C. He's got them on the side of MS-13 in Trinidad. He's got them on the side of the illegal immigrants who are taking American jobs. He's got them on the side of Hamas. He's got Democrats on the side of the terrorists. Every position Donald Trump has taken that has 80% support in the United States has Democrats on the other side. And it's like 99% support that breathing is good. He's going to eliminate the entire Democratic Party overnight just by making them hold their breath until they die. That's how broken the Democratic Party has become. They want you to know, the Democrats do, that actually we're at historically low crime in Washington, D.C. That's Ken Delanian, an NBC News reporter who wants you to know that we are at historically low crime in Washington, D.C. You know why they put the 30-year mark? All the Democrats, their talking point is we're at a 30-year low. You know why they're saying 30-year low? Because 30 years ago, there was a massive crack epidemic in Washington, D.C. A massive crack epidemic. They don't have a massive crack epidemic right now in Washington, D.C., but they have massive crime problems. 6 times higher crime rate and murder rate in Washington, D.C. than in New York City. Let me give you some actual data. They have the 4th highest homicide rate in 2024. Their homicide rate is 6 times higher than New York City. Their homicide rate is 4 times higher than Los Angeles. Their homicide is double Newark. They also beat out Atlanta, Chicago, Compton, and Oakland, California, all places commonly referred to as crime-infested or dangerous cities, and Washington, D.C. beats them all. And yet, you have Peter Baker from the New York Times citing a New York Times story by reporters who do not live in Washington, D.C., insisting that everything is fine in Washington, D.C. because Trump says it's bad, basically. A congresswoman was attacked in an elevator. She had to throw scalding hot coffee on the attacker to get away from him. Congressman Dan Bishop and Mike Collins had staffers approached by a gang of thieves who attempted to take their personal belongings from them. Congressman Henry Cuellar was carjacked. The crime is so bad in D.C. now, the carjackers are getting carjacked. Mike Gill, a married father of 3, is in critical condition because someone shot him at 5 p.m. Monday last year. This is happening regularly in Washington. But you know what? The good white progressive reporters and Democrats who tell you crime's not a problem, they don't live in the crime-infested areas. Every single one of you, wherever you live, knows there are parts of your community where you don't go after dark, and in some places you don't go during the daytime. Atlanta has them, Houston has them, Baton Rouge has them, Jacksonville has them, Orlando has them. Every single one of you knows those areas. But now think of what the white progressives do. Several years ago, Microsoft came up with a solution in its navigation system, a product for pedestrians who are out for walks, where they would steer you around high crime concentration neighborhoods. The American Civil Liberties Union and National Public Radio attacked Microsoft for putting out this product, claiming it was racist. Why? Because it turned out there was a pretty good correlation between high crime neighborhoods and black neighborhoods. And the good white progressives tell you crime's not a problem because the good white progressives don't live where the crime is, and they don't care enough about the black people. They think, well, it's just part of their community. No black mother or father in Washington, D.C. wants their children gunned down. By the way, for all the Democrats who are citing statistics, they fired a police supervisor in Washington, D.C. for gaming the statistics to make crime look less than it was. For all the people saying crime is down in D.C., it's still high. For all the Democrats who cite statistics that may or may not be may or may not be gamed, I can cite you Dominic Ratcliffe, stabbed to death in DuPont Circle. Damian Hill, shot to death on Bennington Road. Lamar Edmonds, shot to death on the southeast side of the city. Carmelo Green, shot to death on the southeast side of the city. Terrell Oliver, shot to death on the southeast side of the city. Mario Guardado, punched to death on the northwest side of the city. Mika Vaughn, shot to death on the northeast side of the city. Malik Lee, stabbed to death on the northwest side of the city. Mark Odoms, shot to death on the southeast side of the city. Nadir McCoy, shot to death on the southwest side of the city. Jeremiah Law shot to death on the northeast side of the city. Tavon Nord shot to death on the northwest side of the city. Christopher Robinson shot to death on the southeast side of the city. Vance Conti shot to death on the northwest side of the city. Deshaun Judge shot to death on the northeast side of the city. Brandon Ward shot to death on the northwest side of the city. Fred Morgan shot to death on the southeast side of the city. Alexander Ross shot to death on the southeast side of the city. Olivia Graves shot to death on the southeast side of the city. Tyrone Birch shot to death on the northeast side of the city. Should I go on? You can cite me all the statistics. Those are the names of the people who were murdered in November and December of last year in Washington, D.C. Most of them shot, some of them stabbed, some of them punched to death. I've got 1-year-olds, I've got 2-year-olds, I've got 3-year-olds, I've got 4-year-olds, I've got 5-year-olds on the list, all of whom were murdered in Washington, D.C. And you good white progressives in the press, Peter Baker, who lives in New York City, you got all these other Democrats out there saying crime's not really a problem in Washington. No, it's not, you racist progressives, because it's not where you visit. You don't give one damn about the black residents of Washington, D.C. You actually think it's part of their community, don't you? You pontificate from New York City or Alexandria, Virginia, or Arlington, Virginia, or Chevy Chase, Maryland, or Bethesda, Maryland, or the northwest section of Washington, D.C., where there was one murder last year, and you look out on all of it and say, I don't see it, so it's not happening. You are the come-to-life version of Animal Farm. You're upset that Donald Trump is taking over, and for all you people saying, you're a conservative, you should believe in limited government, District of Columbia is not a state, it is a federal territory that should be controlled by the federal government. We should have never given them the right to vote. We should have never given them statehood or cityhood. We should have never given them home rule. People in Washington should not be allowed to vote for president. They should not be allowed to govern themselves. It should be a territory controlled by Congress as the founders intended it to be. That's conservatism. Limited government, you limit Washington, D.C. from acting like a government. The fact that the good white progressives of Washington are rallying around the criminals and gangbangers because Donald Trump says it's bad shows you the level of moral corruption within the Democratic Party. He thinks we got to deport illegal aliens. They want to rally to illegal aliens. He thinks we got to deport the gangbangers who are here illegally. They rally to them. He thinks we got to solve the crime in Washington, D.C. The Democrats rally to him. Well, you know what's so interesting here is that most of the local politicians in Washington, D.C., including the mayor of Washington, have been far less condemnatory than the national white Democrats. The people of Washington, D.C. want safety. The police union in Washington, D.C. has come out in favor of this federal takeover. Did you know that? Did you hear that on your nightly news where the Democrats were blasting this? Did you know that the police union has come out because they say the police are overwhelmed and crime is too high in Washington? Have you heard that on ABC, CBS, or NBC? Did you hear it on CNN or MSNBC? Did you read that in the New York Times that the police union in Washington supports the federal takeover because the police lives are threatened? The police are overwhelmed with the crime in Washington, D.C. You lily white progressives who say it's not a problem, then you never encounter it. You don't even live in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is a theory to you, not a reality to you. You don't live on the southeast side where congressional staffers get mugged. You don't live on the southwest side where local children get stabbed to death. You don't live on the far reaches of the northeast side where kids on their way to school get gunned down by gangbangers caught in their crossfire. You don't live in any of those places, so you don't believe it exists. You don't want to deal with crime in your cities either. And so what you do is you say Donald Trump's a racist because he wants to crack down on crime. You said Microsoft was racist because Microsoft sought to protect its users from crime, high crime areas. You said, oh, it's racist. They're not sending them through a black neighborhood. Why? Not because they're black, but because there are gangs, they're killing each other. And you would rather people die than solve the crime problem because you feel virtuous in your safety of your apartment, riding on your Peloton, watching the news, tut-tutting everyone else in the safety of your building that has a security guard in its basement and inside the front door of it so no one can come get you. You privileged white elitist in Washington, D.C., pontificating on television. You black elitist who are working with the white elitists at MSNBC to scream racism over this, where you don't live in it, you don't go to it, you don't have to deal with it. The people of Washington, D.C. want salvation, and they're finding that salvation from Donald Trump, not from any Democratic politician, because the Democratic politicians have failed the black residents of Washington, D.C., taking their vote for granted all while they're being gunned down. The Democrats have decided to embrace crime because Donald Trump is against crime. If Donald Trump comes out tomorrow and says breathing is good, every Democrat in America is going to hold their breath and wipe themselves out. And it would be funny to see the fact that they are in favor of criminals now because Trump wants to crack down on crime, and the fact that they're lying and saying that contrary to even the objective statistics, crime's not bad because they don't see it, tells you just how perverse the Democratic Party has become on these issues.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory in Stockbridge now. Stalled big rig in 2 right lanes. 75 South Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224. Slow from Highway 138. Use Highway 42 or the express lanes. And the stall in Marietta, 75 South Windy Hill Road, exit 260. That's still in a center lane. Now you're slow from South Marietta Parkway. Traffic brought to you by the International Hot Rod Association. International Hot Rod Association and Duran Hybrid, where the road on the engine meets the torque of the wrench, building champions on the track and in the trades. Get your tickets at ihra.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When the news matters to you.
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The latest incident comes when a SWAT team is called after a suspect.
Your 24/7 news
They
source.
had no ties to a gang.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Hey folks, Dave Baker here with a quick tip. When it comes to garage doors, longevity matters. Overhead Door Company of Atlanta has been serving Atlanta homeowners since 1935. That's 90 years of doing it right, day after day, door after door. Sure, new companies pop up claiming to be number one, but for real trust and experience, there's only one original overhead door, the one with the red ribbon on the trucks. Longevity matters. Quality matters. Call 404-USA-DOOR or visit overheaddooratlanta.com.
I'm Brian Parks, head of commercial banking in Atlanta for Ameris Bank. I've been in banking for over 30 years, and my team and I know that businesses have the best results when they work with local bankers who know the Atlanta market. Bankers who will work to understand your business operations and bring good ideas to the table. At Ameris Bank, we do that. I invite you to reach out so we can start a conversation. Visit amerisbank.com/yourbusiness or a local branch near you. Ameris Bank, fiercely yours, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit EXOVATIONS.com.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual imaging has gotten such great response that they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
Roaches are everywhere and just a part of life here in Georgia. Dave Baker here for Breda Pest Management, the experts that protect my home from those relentless roaches. Breda will protect the outside and inside of your home, and it's the roaches inside that you want gone. Have you seen roaches? Better call Breda. Make your home a crunch and squish-free zone. Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters like roaches.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Join Eric's army of activists and let your voice be heard. Text ARMY to 33777.
Donald Trump is a blessed man. He actually is. Listen to this clip from CNN.
When you look at the key categories that we always look at, energy, food, and shelter, energy fell by 1.1%. That was largely driven because of gas prices falling in the month of July by 2.2%. Look at that food. I mean, this is where people spend their money, right? Food every single day. Food flat, 0%, and actually down at the grocery store by 0.1%. And then shelter, we always usually see an increase because that is what people are paying on rent, and we know that rents are rising.
Yeah, remarkable. Inflation rate, 2.7%, better than analysts expected. Now, there is a catch here. You're thinking tariffs. Well, companies have been absorbing the cost. They haven't been passing costs on to consumers. That's coming to an end, and we're starting to see it in the data. Energy fell so much it offset the inflation data, but when you take energy and food out to core inflation, that's what the Federal Reserve looks like. It actually went up higher than expected. Why? Well, because over to you, Wall Street Journal, there are prices showing up, price increases showing up in clothing, price increases are showing up in furniture, price increases are actually showing up when you take energy out, and most analysts say they're only just beginning now to pass costs on to consumers, so expect stuff to continue to go up. But, I mean, the headline inflation number, really good for the president. He did something that even back during the Biden administration, if you listen to me, I was telling you got to bring energy costs down, and he has brought energy costs down, something Democrats aren't capable of doing because they hate oil and gas, and Donald Trump has expanded production of oil and gas through his policies. Good for him. He's making it work. Now, I got to tell you about Old Glory Bank. President Trump, I don't know if you've heard this or not, he signed an executive order to stop debanking of Americans for their faith, their politics, support of the Second Amendment. It's a big win. The government's just catching up to what Old Glory Bank has already been doing, because when the big banks were freezing out conservatives, Old Glory Bank was standing up, no woke agenda, no apologies. They built the bank on the same values you hold, faith, family, freedom. Listen, Washington now wants to get in on prohibiting debanking. Old Glory Bank was set up to prevent debanking. They were founded so no law-abiding American is ever going to be shut out for their beliefs. They're an FDIC-insured bank. They serve customers in all 50 states. They don't cave to council culture, so open an account today like I did. oldglorybank.com/Eric, E-R-I-C-K, oldglorybank.com/Eric. Be on the right side of banking. They're good people. They really are my bank. I got a checking account and a savings account with them. oldglorybank.com/Eric. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, terms and conditions apply.
You can count on it.
You can try and plan for it.
But sometimes it gets the best of you.
Stalled Big Rig 285 southbound the outer loop at 166.
When it stops you from getting where you need to be.
Atlanta's most trusted traffic team gets you there.
Hear you slow just east of Georgia 400.
Atlanta's most up-to-date traffic reports from local and trustworthy people.
Every time you listen. Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. We have just now gotten a picture of the CDC shooter. It is on our website. You can take a look. Also today, we've learned that the shooter killed himself after carrying out the attack, which also left a DeKalb County police officer dead. GBI Director Chris Hosey saying investigators recovered documents indicating 30-year-old Patrick Joseph White was upset about the COVID-19 vaccine.
There was no direct threat, as I'll refer to it within it, but it was his making the public aware in his words of his discontent with the vaccines.
Now, 5 guns were recovered at the scene, all belonging to White's father. Investigators believe that White broke into his father's safe and took those weapons. They also say he had no criminal history. Your weather for today: cloudy, heavy rain, a few thunderstorms throughout the day. Highs 85, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. More than 100,000 F-150 pickup trucks are under recall today. The axle bolts may break and result in the vehicle rolling away or loss of drive power. This recall impacting Ford's F-150 models between 2023 and 2025. Ford dealers will replace the rear axle shaft for free. A possible new treatment for the potentially deadly condition sleep apnea may lie in ancient practice. Vicki Barker has more.
Researchers in India say sleep apnea sufferers who practiced the ancient ritual of blowing into a conch shell for 15 minutes a day had higher oxygen levels at night and were 34% less sleepy during the day compared to those who did the deep breathing exercises that are normally prescribed.
Now, your money. Inflation is up a little bit less than expected. July numbers out today from the Labor Department show the Consumer Price Index it's a key inflation indicator, was up 0.2% from June. That's about 0.1% less than what analysts had been expecting. It's 12:32.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter. For the month of August, D. Geller & Son has 0% APR financing for 5 years. Go to dgeller.com or apply easily in-store either in a Kennesaw or Sandy Springs location. They have elite bridal designers like Tacori, Viraggio, Michael M. and Simon G. Hand-selected inventory of loose diamonds will make her dream ring an affordable reality. Plus, they also have a curated collection of fine fashion jewelry. Go to dgeller.com right now or visit the Kennesaw or Sandy Springs location.
The biggest factor, I think, in choosing a company is their integrity. Are they going to warranty their work and stand behind their work?
Meteorologist Glenn Burns loves his Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows from North Georgia Replacement Windows.
The product, of course, has to be good, but the folks standing behind that product have to be even better. This is the company that has the best products, the best service, the best installation.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
Travel advisory in Stockbridge with a stalled big rig, 2 right lanes, 75 South Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224, slow before Highway 138. Use the express lanes with a Peach Pass or Highway 42. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy with a high of 85. Watching for locally heavy rain showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon.
81 degrees in Kennesaw. It's 80 in Powder Springs. Here in Midtown Atlanta, 82 degrees. More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, as always, text ERIC, E-R-I-C-K. You'll get the live stream, you'll get the show notes, you'll get the podcast, you'll get the social media links. I was on WHIO this morning, and Brittany was asking me about all my cooking pictures. Yeah, I do like to cook. At some point, I need to do a cookbook. I really actually probably should do a cookbook. I've been putting together recipes for one. I've got like 100 recipes to put in. They're all pretty easy. But you follow me on Instagram or Facebook. You see a lot of my stuff. But Instagram.com/EW Erickson. You get a lot of it there. I'm going to do something some of you will get mad at me for. Because I know you. Every time I give advice to Democrats, I get angry emails from 2 specific people in particular. Yeah, I do see your emails. I just don't respond. And why are you giving them advice? Why are you helping the Democrats? Because I know, and you know, they're not actually going to take the advice. So I can give them the advice and know that it's not actually really going to help because they're not actually going to do it. I want to play for you, to kick this off, a clip from Alex Thompson on CNN last night talking about how the Democrats are reacting to Donald Trump's takeover of Washington, which you should know is only for 30 days under federal law. Listen to Alex Thompson.
What's striking is that National Democrats are not following Mayor Bowser's lead on this, and that National Democrats have been insisting, just look at the statistics. We have 30-year low, violent crime, whereas Mayor Bowser is talking about, hey, we need to get 500 more police officers on the streets. We'd like the federal government to help us rebuild our jail. She's talking about some of the reforms she did to make it so accused violent offenders don't get out of jail pre-trial. So there is this disconnect, and I've talked to Democratic strategists today that think that National Democrats saying, look at the statistics is sort of a tone-deaf way to react.
And it's very much, isn't this the exact same problem that Democrats had last year? Look at the statistics. We promise you the economy is great, while people are going, it doesn't feel great to me. That feels like a lot of this conversation around crime, that you can point to statistics all day long that say, hey, D.C. is safer this year than it was last year. But do people feel safe? Bottom line, if they don't, they may be more okay with something that would otherwise be considered extraordinary.
Yes. Thank you to Newsbusters for grabbing that clip. Yes. It actually is kind of crazy. The Democrats want to talk about statistics, and Republicans are talking about people's lives. Republicans are talking about the people getting beat up in the streets of Washington and murdered. Last night in DuPont Circle, and you should understand, DuPont Circle is in the northwest quadrant of D.C. And let me step back real quick and explain this to those of you who've never been there. Washington, D.C. is a diamond-shaped city. It used to have more of it, but back in the 1800s, a portion of Washington was ceded back to Virginia. But have a diamond in your head and then draw a vertical line and a horizontal line meets right near the center of Washington. That's over the Capitol. And if you're northwest of the Capitol, that's the northwest quadrant. Northeast of the Capitol, northeast quadrant. Southeast, southwest. The Capitol is the center of Washington, D.C. And the roads, it's very easy. I've mentioned the other day, it's very easy to navigate Washington. The roads, if you are moving east-west, the roads that go north-south are numbered. The roads that go east-west as you're moving up the city, they're alphabetized. And at the end, they have the marker, northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast, and you know at every moment where you are in the city. Roads that are diagonal are named after states, and those are the avenues: Pennsylvania Avenue, New Jersey Avenue, Connecticut Avenue, Massachusetts Avenue. Up in the northwest quadrant in Washington, D.C. is DuPont Circle. DuPont Circle is a very progressive area of Washington. It is where in that area, Logan Circle and DuPont Circle, A lot of gay activists live. You follow DuPont Circle up, you get towards the U.S. Naval Observatory if you go up Massachusetts Avenue, and then to the National Cathedral. It's also Massachusetts Avenue is Embassy Road, north of DuPont Circle on Massachusetts Avenue. You have a lot of famous old houses that have been turned into embassies. I used to stay up in the Massachusetts Avenue area, in the DuPont Circle area. There's a great old hotel I used to stay at. Not there anymore, but that area has gotten hyper-progressive. There's more and more crime in that area than there used to be. I used to stay up there because it was a safe part of the city. And the Red Line goes through there. The Red Line is the subway line that cuts from the northwest side of D.C., swoops down towards the White House, and then cuts back to the northeast side of D.C., and my office was on the Red Line. So I could get on a DuPont Circle and go to Union Station. It is progressive. You see a lot of rainbow flags. There's a big Presbyterian church up there not a lot of people go to anymore that's got a big rainbow flag hoisted up. The gay pride rallies are in DuPont Circle area. It's a very progressive area. And last night, those good white progressives, many of them gay, got on the streets and they began to protest Donald Trump's takeover of Washington. It was an overwhelmingly white protest. 2 blocks over, somebody got shot while they were protesting. And the Democrats want you to know it's all fine. It's fine because they don't see it. It's one of the reasons that non-white voters have drifted towards the GOP is because Democrats don't take crime seriously. They genuinely don't take crime seriously. They don't see it, therefore it's not happening. They don't see it, therefore the place is safe. They don't see it, they just see the statistics. They don't see the lives lost. And when you rely on statistics, there are lies, damn lies, and statistics. And when you rely on the statistics, you take something that has a face and a human being, and you wind up harming them, making them a number instead of a name. Democrats, you got to stop making people numbers instead of names. You've got to stop making people statistics because they're people. One of the things you got to do is end cash bail. Harold Ford was a Democratic member of Congress from the Memphis area. Memphis, one of the most crime-infested cities in the United States. Memphis is a city in decay. Memphis has an area of tourism in downtown Memphis along Beale Street, and you don't want to venture out in the rest of Memphis. My sister and her husband live just outside of Memphis. My niece works at the Baptist Hospital in Memphis, has some wild stories about the things they see in that hospital. It's not a safe city. My sister and her husband go to church with a police officer and his wife who were taking a vacation to the Turks and Caicos. They had a 6 a.m. flight, having never traveled internationally before. They left their home near Millington, Tennessee, to drive to the Memphis airport on the south side of the city. At a stoplight on a back road off the interstate at 3 a.m., men came out of the bushes and shot them. Police officer shot. You know the irony. He was grazed, thankfully. The wife was missed barely. He was grazed. They didn't want to miss their flight. He's a police officer. He'd been shot before in the line of duty years before. The police showed up, patched him up, and he and his wife still went to the airport and took their trip. He was sore for a week in Turks and Caicos, but he went. But randomly, people came out of the bushes and just shot him. Open fire. That's actually something that happens in Memphis. It doesn't get talked about because it's mostly non-white youths who are doing it, and the media, God forbid, you tell the truth of what's going on with black gang members in Memphis. The guy literally got shot and went on his vacation. It's crazy that these sorts of things happen in cities across America. And what do Democrats say? Remember Daniel Penny? Daniel Penny saved the people on the subway in New York, and they still prosecuted him. He was found not guilty, acquitted by a jury. And what did progressive commentators say? Was it Tory? I can't remember. One of the progressive commentators, I think on MSNBC, I think it was Tory, but maybe it wasn't him. Somebody else just said, you expect to get harassed on the subway. Just put in your AirPods. No, you should not have to expect to get harassed. Shortly thereafter, they started burning people alive on the subways in New York City. They're like, just avoid the people who are going to burn you up. People shove you out onto the tracks to your death in New York City. They're like, nah, it just happens. People should not have to fear for their lives anywhere in the United States, and yet progressives, they've made it common. So Harold Ford on Fox News, listen to this.
The crime issue, I heard Kash Patel today say during the press conference, and he was right, that the murder rate has come down. And Mayor Bowser has said the murder rate has come down. But when you live in communities or you live in neighborhoods where crime is taking place, those statistics mean things. But if you're worried about your kids, worried about yourself, worried about your families, you want someone, and you're expecting government to step up to the plate. I'd say one thing to everybody, New Yorkers, people live in Maryland, people live in Colorado, people live in Illinois, Florida, Georgia. We need to end cash bail. This no cash bail thing has not worked. Now, there were many who thought it might work because you were going to let people were going to jail to they were spending more time waiting for their trial than they were if they got convicted of something. But we're seeing now that the thing doesn't work. There ought to be a bipartisan effort to say, look, let's end it now. Whether you're a Democrat that supported it in the past, it just didn't work. And we ought to be willing to admit that. Any Republican or Democrat has an idea that doesn't work, just admit when it doesn't work. This one has not worked. We should get away from it. Two, our Fox reporter, I can't think of his name, young guy, I see him on Brett Baer's show a lot, and I've seen him on your show in the morning. He asked, I think, the first or second question of President Trump during the press conference, and I think it's a legitimate question. He said, Mr. President, will you be willing to take this to other cities? And the president said, yes. I hope that this template works, that we find a way to take it to Chicago and Baltimore and Memphis and Denver and Atlanta and other places that may need it, where you have communities that are wrecked by crime. And then two, he raised a question, which I'm totally opposed to the legalization of any drugs. And apparently President Trump and his team are looking at reclassifying marijuana. And the reporter asked, how do you reconcile that if people think that could be a gateway to some other things that these kids are doing? And I thought my former seatmate here and my pal here who talked about young people, I wouldn't be surprised if there were not drugs that are a part of that, as well as these young people are holding guns and handling guns and committing crimes with guns. It was interesting. I didn't realize you couldn't prosecute a kid unless they kill somebody with the gun or rape somebody with the gun. If they have a gun or they use it, that has to change. And I hope that the U.S. attorney there, my friend, is able to change that.
And here's the thing: is the situation. Look at Mamdani in New York City. It's actually the white progressives who are pushing this. It's not the black families. The black families in New York City are supporting Andrew Cuomo. They don't want Mamdani. In Washington, D.C., it's the wealthy white people who are supporting the urban decay. It's the black families who are scared. It's the black families supporting Donald Trump's takeover. And yet the good, white, wealthy progressives on television, they come on and they say, it's not a problem. I saw Ann Applebaum, who has kind of been broken by Donald Trump. I used to think she was an insightful writer. She was on Twitter last night talking about how she grew up in D.C. and it's so much safer now than when she was a kid. Yeah, the crack epidemic is no longer a thing there, but it's still not safe. And I actually did the research to figure out where she lived. I'm not going to dox her, but I know where Ann Applebaum lives, and guess what? She lives in the perfectly safe part of Washington, D.C., where she doesn't have to see the crime. She doesn't live on the southeast side or the southwest side or the northeast side. She lives in a perfectly nice, decent area of Washington where you and I would feel safe even at night walking down the street towards the zoo. But that's where the white progressives live, and they're safe there. The white progressives don't live in Compton. They don't live in downtown Memphis. They don't live in Oakland. They don't live in the interior of Baltimore. They don't live on the south side of Chicago, and they think that's just them. That's just their thing. That's just their way of life. It is the epitome of racism that white progressives have just been indoctrinated into the idea that that's just a part of the black community. Black moms and dads don't want their kids shot. They don't want their kids in gangs, and yet white progressives assume that's just part of their way of life. And so when Donald Trump comes along and says, I'm going to fight crime, the white progressives say it's racist. It's not racist. It's pro-life. You are protecting the lives of citizens of this country, regardless of their race, creed, or ethnic origin. And progressives think that doing so is racist. You Democrats have got to actually get tough on crime and stop talking about statistics, because I can give you the names of the people who were murdered. Americans for Prosperity has been advocating tough on crime ideas for quite some time. and common sense legal reforms in this country, they would love to have you on board. Even if you just want to be informed about the latest trends in conservative policy, all you have to do is go to afpvolunteer.com. You can learn how to be an advocate for common sense conservative reforms. You can learn how to advance them in the state legislature or in Congress. Or you can just be the most informed member of your circle of friends. It's afpvolunteer.com. That's the website, afpvolunteer.com. Americans for Prosperity is the largest and leading grassroots group in the nation. And it happens to be conservative. It happens to have chapters in every state, and they'd love to get you involved. afpvolunteer.com is the website. Americans for Prosperity is great. I'm on their board of advisors. We'd love to have you.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear. It's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 Cool-Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Better news in Stockbridge. They got that stalled tractor trailer to the right shoulder. All lanes open. 75 South Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224. So the brake light battle leaving Highway 138 is getting better. Earlier, stall clear to Marietta. 75 South at Windy Hill Road, exit 260. And we got a crash over on the east side inside the perimeter in DeKalb County. Clifton Road and Briarcliff Road right in the intersection. Traffic brought to you by YRefi.com. Is private student loan debt ruining your life? It doesn't have to. Just go to YRefi.com. That's YREFY.com and get your life back. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Better prices, better views. Window comfort, meant just for you. Window comfort.
Don't be fooled by the big box brands. Window Comfort's exclusive window line is custom built for Georgia weather, installed by in-house pros and guaranteed never to fog. With factory direct pricing, it's affordable for everyone. Go to windowcomfort.com for real quality that lasts.
Better prices, better views. Window comfort, meant just for you. Window comfort.
At Jape Services, family isn't just a slogan, it's how we do business. Our family has been helping homeowners with their heating and cooling since 1978. And now, we're riding along just like our dad did when he was 14.
And today, we're here to help your family stay cool and comfortable. If your AC is struggling, call Jape Services for honest pricing, expert heating and cooling repair, or replacement.
Decades of experience, family-run values, service you can trust.
Let our family take care of your family.
Jape Services.
So your septic system needs repairs. That stinks. First, they want to charge you to pump out the tank and charge you again for the repair. That's just wrong. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic, and we don't do that. With us, there's never a pump out charge with your repair. You'll save hundreds.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic, where there is never a pump out charge with your repair. Call for more information.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
A great way to add value to your home is to improve and upgrade your kitchen, but you're worried about the cost because of tariffs raising everybody's costs on things like this. Y'all, it's Eric. You can go to Frugal Kitchens. You'll get that $1 million look for well under that price. And right now, if you book an appointment, you'll get the Frugal Price Lock, where they will lock in pre-tariff pricing. Google Frugal Kitchens today. Lock in pre-tariff pricing on your redesign of your kitchen. Google Frugal Kitchens.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Giving you the truth, not the talking points. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
My fellow Americans, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. I have to tell you that I have thought, and I have said on this program, that as the president tried to move on from the Epstein stuff, that he was changing the conversation, the Tulsi Gabbard stuff about what Obama did, things like that. The president was trying to shift the conversation to move the base along to something else. At this point, however, the Democrats are now processing every single thing in that way. A story that didn't matter all that much, the Democrats have decided that everything's a distraction. I think Donald Trump knows how to play the Democrats. Just look at what happened with illegal immigration. Overwhelmingly, voters, it's a top 5 issue for them. Donald Trump begins to aggressively arrest and deport illegal aliens, most of whom are gangbangers and criminals. And the Democrats are suddenly on the side of illegal immigrants. They take an 80-20 issue and they find the 20% side. Now Donald Trump is taking on crime. Another issue that voters have been concerned about and helped him get elected was the issue of crime. He's staked out the 80% side. Democrats are rushing to the 20% side. They're on the side of the criminal. They're trying to claim it doesn't matter. They're trying to cite statistics that are dubious. I don't think he's doing this in Washington, D.C. as a distraction from Epstein. And I have said I thought some of the stuff he had done were to move people on from that conversation. This is not one of them. He's just found another 80-20 issue where the Democrats will naturally be on the 20% side, the side no one wants to be on except the Democrats. He's learned how to play them. On the major issues of the day, crime and immigration, the economy, Donald Trump's trying to stake out position. I think he's wrong on tariffs, but nonetheless, on crime and immigration, he's on the 80% side, and he's forced the Democrats to take on the side of the criminals and the illegal aliens and the gangbangers. It's actually kind of wild to see how he plays the Democrats so predictably. And again, it's like I said at the beginning of the hour, if Donald Trump came out today and said breathing is good, Democrats would say breathing is bad. You should hold your breath. He's in their head that much. He has beaten them so savagely and repeatedly. Remember, Hillary Clinton actually poured resources into helping Donald Trump get the Republican nomination in 2016. This is revisionism. It's well documented. She thought he would be so easy to beat, and he beat her. So they had to conjure up the Russian narrative. And then 2020 happens, and the Democrats think progressives are inevitable. He'll never win again, and he beats them in 2024 after they indicted him. That they dragged him through every court system in America just about. They tried to bankrupt him. He beat them again, and he's broken them. He lives in their head rent-free and knows how to play them. And when we come back, the other 80-20 issue, energy in this country, where the Democrats are on the side of we need to curl up and die to save the planet, and Donald Trump is on the side of let's build nuclear plants in this country and do supersonic aircraft and the like.
I'm Chris Chandler, and when you join us Wednesday, starting at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, previewing the Google gadgets in store at a big launch event, and Clark Howard's found a troublesome new wrinkle in online shopping on 95.5 WSB.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Nelson Exteriors. Investigators now say the man accused of killing a DeKalb County police officer during an attack on CDC died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
30-year-old Patrick Joseph White was found dead inside a nearby CVS shortly after allegedly firing dozens of shots at CDC buildings and killing DeKalb County police officer David Rose. GBI Director Chris Hosey says they've recovered 5 firearms from the scene, all belonging to White's father.
All indications in our investigation was that they were secured and that he forced his way into the safe that contained the weapons.
Investigators have also recovered documents that indicate White was upset about the COVID-19 vaccine. In DeKalb County, Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
And a picture of White has also been released this afternoon. We have posted it on our website. You can take a look. Mostly cloudy, some heavy rain and a few thunderstorms possible for the afternoon. Highs around 85, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. This is new at 1 o'clock. Nurses at the Atlanta VA are protesting the Trump administration cuts that they say will cut staffing and mental health services for veterans.
Veterans Administration nurses say canceling their bargaining rights is triggering a chain reaction. Fewer specialized nurses in crucial fields like the ones sending RNs to the homes of suicidal veterans and those with severe mental illness. Nurse Florence Uzigbunum says privatizing veterans care won't save money or lives.
You save money when you go there versus you put them in a 1013 in the hospital. It will cost more and then even more harm if they hurt themselves or hurt somebody else on the street.
VA officials say the change will free up office space and hours being used by union reps. Indicator Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Another Republican is jumping into the crowded race for lieutenant governor. State Representative David Clark of Beaufort is a military veteran who positions himself as a staunch ally of President Trump.
I fought to defend our nation's freedom overseas. Now I'm in a new fight for you as I step in to defend our families, future, and freedom here at home as your next lieutenant governor of Georgia.
He has also been a thorn in the side of other Republicans at times in the legislature. Several other Republicans have also announced their intention to seek the nomination to replace Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who is making his own run for the governor's office. There is another 90-day extension in the trade war truce between the United States and China, both countries announcing a delay just hours before those sky-high triple-digit levies were set to go into effect today. The new deadline will keep tariffs on Chinese imports at 30%, while China's duties on U.S. imports will remain at 10%. It's 1:02.
Hey homeowners, it's Eric Erickson here. Do your windows and doors stick? Are you noticing cracks in the drywall or the brickwork? You might have a big problem. Serious issues need the serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, as are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
This is Andy Harris, President of Coosa Valley Credit Union, with a personal invitation for you to join our newest branches in Woodstock, Canton, or Dallas. We've been in business in Northwest Georgia for 70 years, and we're proud to now offer kinder banking to Cobb, Cherokee, and Paulding County, where you'll always speak to a real person. With 11 locations, Coosa Valley Credit Union is always local and nearby. Experience kinder banking and stop in a Coosa Valley Credit Union branch near you.
Your deck is more than just a place to flip a burger or have a cup of coffee. It gathers your friends and family on all your favorite occasions and is there to enjoy every day. Hi, I'm Scott Nelson, owner of Nelson Exteriors, and we build beautiful, high-quality decks at a reasonable price. We're licensed and insured, provide exceptional customer service, design help, and we'll work with the materials you want. Strength, durability, beauty. Decks done differently. Built by Nelson Exteriors. Get your free estimate. Google Nelson Exteriors.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
John Ossoff's never been worried in a grocery store checkout line. Not once. But single moms like Sarah have been. 2 kids, $52,000 a year, tight budget. Just now in Washington, John Ossoff voted to raise Sarah's taxes. If Ossoff got his way, Sarah would be paying $1,470 more. Call Senator Ossoff and ask him, why did you vote to raise our taxes? Paid for by Senate Opportunity Fund.
Skeeters biting you? Better call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scott Slade, Georgia, every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Atlanta's best plumbers call Deep Dive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll have your pipes working again. DeepDivePlumbing.com.
Live scene coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Trouble just pushed off to the right into DeKalb County, 285 northbound, the outer loop, right at the end of the ramp from I-20 west to 285 north, so that'll help out. That ride downtown, a few brake lights, 75, 85 northbound as you leave I-20, making your way up toward Freedom Parkway and Peachtree Pine Street, and still working to clean up this crash in DeKalb County on Briarcliff Road, right at the intersection of Clifton Road. You're seeing some delays in all directions trying to get through that intersection. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy today with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms, some of which may produce some heavy downpours. Today's high is 85. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with scattered rain and thunderstorms, high 84.
78 degrees in Villa Rica. It's 82 right now in Marietta. Covington has 85 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. I just peeked out. We had a little bit of sunshine at 84 degrees on Peachtree Street. We'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, it's Eric Erickson here. I hope you are doing well. The phone number, if you want to be on the program, is 877-973-7425. A lot of people, just so you know, this conversation on TV right now on CNBC, and a lot of the inflation numbers where core inflation is higher than expected, general inflation less than expected, because energy prices continue to go down. There's real conversation that we might actually see a 50 basis point cut from the Federal Reserve. That's a half a percentage point cut come September. Not a bad deal. The inflation data that came out, it's actually a mixed bag for the president. You know, both sides glum on to whatever side helps them. So the president's team, they're championing the consumer price index number. It's less than expected, came in at 2.7% instead of 2.8, 2.9%, where the experts thought it was going to be, still higher than the 2% the Fed likes. And what's really keeping prices from going up is energy prices. Gas prices keep going down, and of course, progressives hate it. Now, the Democrats are seizing on core numbers, core inflation, and that actually is the concerning one. The core number isn't great because energy prices and food prices are pretty volatile, and food prices have a lot to do with energy prices. So energy prices have gone down so much that food prices, grocery store prices, have gone down 0.1%. Food prices generally not going up at all. And that's good. Grocery prices down 0.1%. Some grocery prices up, though. Coffee, for example, is up because of tariffs. Most coffee comes from overseas, so it's impacted by tariffs. The core inflation rate isn't fantastic. It's higher than expected because core inflation takes out the volatile food prices and the volatile energy prices. And actually what you find is that furniture prices are up because most of it's imported. Tire prices are up because most of them are imported. Clothing prices are up because most of them are imported. Toy prices are up because most of them are imported. And a lot of companies, you got to remember, they didn't start passing costs along to consumers. Because of the way the president implemented tariffs, most of them really didn't go into effect until June, where a lot of companies thought they'd be temporary. They're now realizing they're permanent. A lot of companies are coming out and saying, hey, we're about to start passing costs on to consumers. We thought tariffs were going to be temporary. They're not. So here come the price increases. So stick around a couple more months. Let's see what actually happens with the prices. The Federal Reserve has been hesitant to lower prices, except there's something the Fed understands that you may not understand. Tariffs aren't really inflation. Tariffs make the cost of a good go up in price. So they are inflationary, but they're not really inflation because once the price has gone up, the price has gone up. They don't keep going up. The tariff is a fixed percentage. So they're not quite inflation. They are inflationary, but they are not part of inflation. They make prices go up, but only by so much, and we can calculate the price increases to a degree. We also know that, for example, that when prices don't go up because the companies eat the cost, that hurts the companies with reinvestment. It hurts the companies with shareholders, things like that. You got to be mindful of that. I'm trying to be as broad scoped and honest with you across the board and not just picking and choosing the number I like. But I want to go back to the number I like and the number the president likes. And that is 2.7% consumer price index inflation. Lower than people expected. And why? Energy prices. What has the president done? The president has told oil companies, you will not be punished by me for drilling. You will not be punished by me for extracting oil. And you will not be punished by me for refining oil. The Democrats, the left, hate it. There is a growing body of evidence in the United States of America that the Chinese are funding a lot of environmental groups. They are funding a lot of the groups that oppose the construction of power plants. They are funding a lot of the groups that oppose oil. They are funding a lot of the groups that oppose our energy advancement, except solar and wind. Why not solar and wind? Because most of the products made for solar and wind come from the Chinese. In fact, there was a big story yesterday. I think it was in the New York Times. It might have been the Wall Street Journal, but I think the New York Times, that essentially the solar and wind energy knew Donald Trump wouldn't like them, but they didn't expect him to come as aggressively against them. Yeah, you're right. Donald Trump is coming real hard against solar and wind. Why? Because so much of it is made in China. If you want solar panels, much of it is made in China. You want wind energy, most of the turbines and the blades, they're made in China. They're shipped over here, and Trump's had enough of that. And by the way, no base load power. Andrew Stuttaford writing at National Review. For a long time now, climate policymakers have been warning about the heat waves that would be coming Europe's way, and sooner rather than later. And that was what they expected. As that was what they expected, it would have made sense to make sure the electricity grid could cope with the additional summertime demand. In Europe, a largely temperate climate that makes far less use of air conditioning than the United States, energy demand has traditionally been higher in winter than in summer. A process that would not involve scrapping power stations relying on the wrong sort of fuel. However, scrapping reliable power stations is what the Europeans did, increasingly turning to renewables, systems plagued with the problems caused by intermittency, before making sure that they would be sufficient power when the predicted heat arrived. In other words, as central planners are wont to do, they got things the wrong way round. Greening Europe's grid is not going to make a material difference to the climate anytime soon, meaning that ensuring that Europe could weather hotter temperatures should logically have been a higher priority, but it wasn't. Solar generation reached a record high in June in Europe, up 22% on the previous year. That kept the power grid well supplied during daytime hours in most locations. The surplus of solar energy during the day helped prevent blackouts. However, the use of energy storage is still insufficient, leading to reduced energy supply after sunset, which translated into sharper increases in energy prices. Why? I don't know if you know this. Come closer to the radio. Listen to my voice. Come I will keep nothing from you but tell you the truth, a truth you may not know. When the sun doesn't shine at night, the solar panels don't do jack. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know. But apparently it's news to the progressives who plan energy, except the Chinese have known it, and that's why they want us to use solar power, because we don't have sufficient battery backups. We don't even have enough lithium to build enough battery backups. And so when the sun is shining and the wind is blowing, we get power. When it's dark and the wind's not blowing, we don't get power. This is from Noah Rothman. So far, the pollsters attempting to take the temperature of New Jersey's electorate ahead of November's off-year election have tended to keep their questions about the issues on which voters are focused vague and generic. New Jerseyans are asked for their thoughts on taxes, but are we talking the sales tax, local state income tax, property tax? They get to weigh in on crime and safety, a concept that contains multitudes. And, of course, there's the cost of living and affordability. If, however, we're talking about the whole universe of both discretionary consumer goods and essentials that contribute to individual fulfillment, the politicians who take their cues from these surveys can be as vague as the question wording when addressing them. Writing in the New York Post, Bethany Mandel helpfully drilled down on a specific issue of the cost of living and affordability in New Jersey. She put her finger on a scandal simmering just beneath the surface: the cost of energy. The one-time New Jersey resident tapped into her Garden State network and apparently found widespread sticker shock among the locals. And as a Garden State resident myself, allow me to contribute my own experience to the mix in the form of a June bill that came in 3 times higher than any previous actual meter read. Fortunately, no one is confused as to what is driving the additional cost of energy. The increased demand for power from the data centers contributing to our AI-dominated futures, and the decreased supply that's been the result of America's decade-long push to replace fossil fuel generation with renewables. They took generation off before they brought generation on, one energy expert told Mandel, in reference to the coal-fired and nuclear power plants that were mothballed during Governor Phil Murphy's tenure. These higher prices are the result of a loss in electricity supply caused primarily by decarbonization policies that have led to an uptick in generator retirements, another energy sector analyst observed. New Jersey Power consumers have seen their electricity bills spike up to 20% this summer, a rapid increase that residents are complaining about to anyone who will listen. The audience does not appear to include much of the mainstream press. The griping's been limited to letters to the editor, drive-time radio show callers, and conservative op-ed pages. Not that Murphy's been tone deaf, this summer the governor committed his state to an investigation of the power problem. The state is also pressuring power companies to defer rate hikes into the fall when usage declines so that they can mask newer, higher baseline rates. It's not just a New Jersey problem. The average cost of power nationwide is up 6.5% from a year ago. In populous states like New York, Florida, Illinois, Ohio, Connecticut, and New Jersey, rates are up double digits, with much of the increase coming online in the summer months. Nearly half the country's coal-fired power plants have been retired because the government's made it too expensive to run. Building new plants takes time. Our policymakers, particularly those on the left, particularly those backed by Chinese money, have created a situation where we don't have enough power to power the future. We don't have enough power to power the AI data centers. So I live in an area of Georgia where a local landowner who's trying to get rid of some of his land wants to build a data center. He and another landowner in the area, they want to build a data center on a big tract of land in a sleepy little bedroom community. Like this, to give you a sense of this bedroom community, the primary interstate route through this neighborhood doesn't even allow you to go north to Atlanta. You can go south, you can't go north when you get on the interstate because they want to keep people from the Atlanta area moving that far south. It is a tiny little bedroom community. It is out in the country. It is small town America with an interstate going through it. You'd never know the interstate was there if you weren't paying attention. They've designed it to be that small, and this landowner, wanting to get rid of some of his land, wants to build a data center. The whole community came out and opposed it. Planning and zoning killed it. The commissioners killed it. And I don't know if you know about these data centers, but a lot of them, even the ones they say are quiet, can make a hum that you can hear from miles away at night. Those are the quiet ones. And they use a massive, massive amount of energy. And the Chinese have convinced states and environmental groups around the country to not build coal-fired plants. China is building hundreds of coal-fired plants, not just nuclear plants, but coal-fired plants. China is building them. In this country, we can't get new coal plants built because the environmentalists and the government progressives, they kill them. So we can't build the energy needs for the AI revolution so China can get ahead of us. We can't build the energy needs to keep costs low for Americans. I mentioned at the beginning of this segment that energy costs have gone down, but that's oil and gas. Oil and gas prices have gone down. Power prices for your home, they keep going up. They keep going up because the progressives don't want you to have power. The progressives would rather you be miserable in the dark. They'd like you to be like in Europe, where the power goes out all the time and you can't run your air conditioner. I got a Ecobee thermostat in my house. If you're not familiar with it, it is a thermostat that it's digital. It's connected to the internet, and I can control it from my phone. Right now, if I really wanted to make my wife mad while I'm here with you on radio, in fact, I could do this right now and show you. I can pull out my iPhone. I can open my Ecobee app. It is connected to my home thermostat, and I can lower the thermostat down to 65 degrees downstairs and freeze my wife. And if I did it to her right now, which I may or may not have just done this afternoon, she'll be mad at the thermostat, not me, because she'll just think that the computer hates her. One of the options is I can connect it to my power company and allow it to control my thermostat. And there is no way in hell I would ever allow my power company to do that, because when demand peaks in hot summer days, they turn my heat up or turn my air conditioner up so it doesn't cool down my house. There's no way I want to do that. The left wants it mandatory. They want us miserable. There's a rise of right-wing populist movements around the world that are surging. In France, in Germany, in Italy, in Great Britain, the populists in this country with Donald Trump, you know what they have in common? It's all a bunch of people who are mad at the progressives making our lives miserable. From crime to the power grid, progressives want to make us miserable. And for too long, people on the right in the establishment accommodated the concerns about power and global warming. And now the populists are winning by saying, just adapt, get used to the world warming, which we should do.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
123 Cool Ray Carrier, 122 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center, travel advisory in Dorville, crash 285 eastbound, the Interloop Beaver Highway exit 32. Multiple center lanes are blocked, at times all lanes blocked. Avoid it all. Take 400 south to 85 north as an alternate. Traffic brought to you by Georgia Aquarium. This summer, experience bioluminescence and all things light during glow nights at Georgia Aquarium. Save $10 after 4 p.m. Just visit georgiaaquarium.org. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When markets get rocky, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president and founder of Nicholas Wealth Management. Times like these demand action and a plan you can trust. That's why we rely on our trademark Retire Ready Bucket strategy. This strategy is designed to place a percentage of your portfolio into lower risk, income producing income bucket, aiming to generate steady cash flow for the first 10 to 15 years of retirement. Meanwhile, your growth bucket is filled with dividend and growth stocks, which has time to recover when markets are going crazy. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com to schedule a time to sit down with our team to review your plan. This strategy was crafted by experience. It's battle tested, and it's how you aim to keep your retirement on track even when the markets are not. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we're prepared. Are you? Don't wait for the next headline to shake your confidence. Call Nicholas Wealth today, 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management. Retire ready.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm.
and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Neither the information nor any opinion expressed is to be construed as solicitation to buy or sell a security or personalized investment, tax, or legal advice.
Home improvement projects can be a stressful guessing game. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus, the highest level of communication. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. We'll make you comfortable and keep you informed with every step of your project.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus, siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
If you drive a Mercedes, BMW, Land Rover, or any European import, come see us at Rocco's European Garage. Better value than the dealership, honest and all-in pricing with customer approval prior to us beginning, and our services won't void the manufacturer's warranty. Rocco's European Garage.
Protect your turf from termites. Call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scott Slades, Georgia, every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
No need to be afraid of bugs.
I've had many people tell me I've never thought concrete could look beautiful, but yours does. Hi, this is Bill Sudlow with Sudlow Concrete. We take on any project, large or small, including driveways, patios, sidewalks, and foundations. If your concrete just plain looks lousy, it's time to call Sudlow Concrete. When you do business with Sudlow Concrete, it's good to have high expectations because we're going to exceed them. SudlowConcrete.com. That's SudlowConcrete.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true, people are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Join Eric's Army of Activists. Text ARMY to 33777 now.
Hello there. It is Eric Erickson here. Those of you on the phone, stand by. I'll get to you in just a minute. Short segment here, but I got to play you this audio from the White House. Carolyn Leavitt, the press secretary, speaking to the White House.
On Friday morning, President Trump will travel across the country to Anchorage, Alaska, for a bilateral meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The brutal war between Russia and Ukraine broke out under Joe Biden's incompetent leadership, but President Trump is determined to try and end this war and stop the killing. As the president has said over and over again, his strong preference will always be for peace and partnership, whenever those outcomes can possibly be achieved. There is no leader in the world right now who has been more committed to preventing wars or ending them than President Donald Trump.
You know, we haven't even gotten into the Armenia-Azerbaijan peace that the president brokered. And the amount of people who have been so dismissive of that peace, the Abraham Accords, and many of his other efforts. I'm perfectly willing to criticize the president. I do on a basis enough that I get plenty of people who complain about me complaining about the president's policies. But you can't complain about these policies. He's done a really good job in the Middle East. He's had a very mature foreign policy. He's done quite well. And look, I'm concerned about this meeting with Putin. I don't trust the Russians. I'd rather us fund Ukraine to kill the Russians. But I think the president's right. Ukraine, if they want peace, they're going to have to give up some land. That's just the reality. Reality is also, if you go to EdenPureDeals.com today and put in the discount code ERICK3, ERICK3, you can get 3 Eden Pure Thunderstorms and save $200. They're an air purifier, so get rid of pollen and dust and pet dander, mold floating in the air. They kill 99.9% of viruses and bacteria that flow through them with a plasma charge. But then they generate ozone that floats out into your room, not just through the device, and the ozone particles latch on to the odor particles and wipe them out. No odor can stand up to it. You get fresh air. So litter box odors, dirty diaper odors, musty odors, the cat threw up odors, the dog peed odors, I cooked in the kitchen and it stinks odors, they all get wiped out by the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You get 3 of them, you save $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code ERICK3, ERICK3. You can thank me later.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is Right?
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Don't tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good afternoon. It's 1:30. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. In case you're just joining us, we do have a picture of the CDC shooter. It's on our website. You can take a look. And we have learned that he killed himself after carrying out the attack, which also left a DeKalb County police officer dead. GBI Director Chris Housey says investigators recovered documents indicating that 30-year-old Patrick Joseph White was upset about the COVID-19 vaccine.
There was no direct threat, as I'll refer to it within it, but it was his making the public aware, in his words, of his discontent with the vaccines.
And Director Hosey says 5 guns were recovered at the scene, all belonging to White's father. Investigators believe he broke into his father's safe and took those weapons. They also say he had no criminal history. Your weather for today, mostly cloudy, some heavy rain and a few thunderstorms are possible this afternoon with a high of 85. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. This is new this half hour. 2 new studies show the economic impact of the University System of Georgia tops $23 billion, a 5% increase from a year ago. Graduates of the university system earn over $1.4 million more with their college degrees during their lifetimes. Chancellor Sonny Perdue saying a degree from one of Georgia's 26 public colleges and universities is $1 million deal for graduates and $1 billion boost for Georgia. And the latest housing market snapshot from Georgia MLS showing Metro Atlanta home sales cooling in July. The number of units sold fell 7.2% compared to last year, and homes are staying on the market longer. Analysts say that's giving buyers more time to compare properties, and some are waiting to see if the Federal Reserve lowers interest rates. Median sales prices are holding steady at $415,000. It's 1:32.
Shelley went to the Golden Sales event is happening now at Butler Lexus South Atlanta. Unmatched performance, timeless luxury, and a dealership that truly values you. Visit them today. Offer ends September 2nd. Experience the standard of amazing.
Properties come in all shapes and sizes, and so do foundation repairs. Mark Beckham here. It could be new construction, a big house, a small house, or your commercial property. Anyway, you need the leaders in foundation repair to handle it. Get your free estimate at atlantaramjack.com.
Dave Baker here for Cool Ray Heating and Cooling. It's August, which means school is back in session. Hey kids, remember homework? Cool Ray will help keep you cool while you study at home. Right now, Cool Ray is offering up to $2,250 back in rebates and free installation with the purchase of a complete Carrier system. You know, proper insulation is like a summertime sidekick for your HVAC, keeping cool air in and hot air out. Simply go to coolray.com to book your appointment today. Cool Ray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
You've probably heard that constipation and IBS can all be related to a lack of fiber in your diet. Hi, it's Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. If you or someone you know suffers from constipation or IBS, let the Bread Beckers show you the way to more fiber and regularity and to better health without swallowing a pill or a bad-tasting drink. At the Bread Becker store in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real, delicious bread loaded with fiber from real whole grains. A healthy, affordable, and delicious solution for your family that can change your life. This is not like the enriched bread you buy at the grocery store. It's real bread. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of whole grains and real bread. So if you're struggling with bowel issues, high cholesterol, warts, or kids who seem to be constantly sick, take the first steps to a healthier life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Y'all, there's a way for you to beat tariffs and still get that new kitchen you want. You Google Frugal Kitchens. Right now, you book an appointment with Frugal Kitchens. They're going to give you the Frugal Price Lock, where you're going to be able to get your kitchen remodeled with Frugal Kitchens for a great price with $1 million look, and you'll lock in pre-tariff pricing. Google Frugal Kitchens today, book your appointment this month, and you'll save big and increase the value of your home with that kitchen you've been wanting. Google Frugal Kitchens today.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Travel advisory continues in Doorville with this crash in 3 center lanes. 285 eastbound, the inner loop, Beaufort Highway exit 32, jammed up almost back to Ashford Dunwoody. Take 400 south to 85 north as an alternate. Speaking of 400 south, a few more brake lights passing Northridge Road, exit 6 in Sandy Springs with that on and off left lane rolling construction on 400 south below Northridge. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy today with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms, some of which may produce some heavy downpours. Today's high is 85. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with scattered rain and thunderstorms, high 84.
We'll have more news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
To the Eric Erickson Show.
Hello there. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Let me go to Tom, who's been waiting patiently. Welcome to the show, Tom. How are you?
Hey, Eric, and I just have to say that your opening monologue, please save that put that on the menu for any upcoming Best of Eric shows. That was
I'll
awesome,
do it.
dude. All right, now, I'd like to pile on a little bit onto what you said, because, you know, we call these people progressives. They're not progressive. I don't call what they're doing progress, and they've co-opted that term along with a number of others. But the main reason they hate Trump so much is he stood in the gap to prevent what they considered their time to take down America. And that's why they hate this guy. So he stopped him, and that is unforgivable in their eyes. So, you know, their globalist control paradigm or scheme has been put on hold for now. So these people, these communist global control freaks, will not relent, and so they have to be defeated. And they employ what I call the 5 C's. They complicate any issue to their advantage, creating confusion and chaos in the minds of people so that they can take control and conquer us. And any tactic is fine so long as it benefits their cause. And I got one other little quick thing if you want to stop me now.
Go for it.
So the use of terms that they've co-opted, progressive, what's progressive about what they do? It's anti-progress. It's anti-people. It's control for them. And, you know, this guy who wants to be the mayor of New York, he's already got that Politburo mindset. You know, I get the goodies, but you don't get them. You know, like his rental that he gets for cheaper than he should.
The thing about the left is that they change their name every 100 years or so, every 75 years. So I've been a conservative my whole life. Now, there are people who say I'm not a conservative because I don't support Donald Trump sufficiently, but Trump calls himself actually a populist. He doesn't call himself a conservative. In fact, Trump has one time said he wasn't a conservative. We're all conservative in what we know best. But I'm a conservative. I believe in individual liberty. I believe in advancing the individual, arm's length transactions. I believe in traditional values. I'm a conservative. People have never really gotten tired of conservatives, but they get tired of liberals who have to go back to calling themselves progressives, who then have to go back to calling themselves liberals, who have to go back to calling themselves progressives. At the turn of the 20th century, they were progressives until the 1960s, and they had worn out their welcome, so they started calling themselves liberals, and they started calling themselves liberals until the early 2000s, and they worn out their welcome, and now they're back to progressives. And what is a liberal? A liberal is a progressive who realizes that liberalism left unrestrained becomes insanity. At this point, they'll be back to calling themselves liberals soon enough when people get tired of it, and I'll still be calling myself a conservative. Now, what I'll also be calling myself is a Christian, because I am. I really take it seriously. There are people on a regular basis who come after me on social media or whatnot and throw my faith in my face because they've decided I'm not living up to my standards. Well, of course I'm not. That's kind of the point. You know, I saw a Stephen Gadbury, who is a priest. I've had him on my program. He put up a quote last week that I was very encouraged by. He said that the struggle against sin is the sign of sanctification. That all saints are sinners. It's the struggle that separates the saints from the fallen, something like that. I was like, you know, that's because I struggle with sin too. And I do not live up to the standard that I set because all Christians are hypocrites to a degree. The left likes to define us by our worst moment in life. They don't believe in redemption unless we bend over backwards to comply with what they want. Otherwise, we've got to have our sins hung around our neck like a millstone for the rest of our life. There's no grace. There's no redemption. Which leads me to the Associated Press that has decided to run a story about Pete Hegseth. Let me read you the headline. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth belongs to an arch-conservative church network. Here's what you need to know. So we're back to arch-conservatives in the media. Arch-conservatives were when Mitt Romney was president and he said he wanted the people who don't pay taxes to pay taxes. That's an arch-conservative position. Do they just not know how to say evangelical church network? Pete Hegseth is a member of the Communion of Reformed Evangelical Churches. They call it an arch-conservative network. Now, if you're familiar with Doug Wilson, he's a co-founder of the CREC, that is the Communion of Reformed Evangelical Churches. They're up in Moscow, Idaho. I'm not a huge Doug Wilson fan. Just so you know, within denominations and the like, I think Wilson has platformed a group of people he shouldn't have platformed, gave them prominence, and they turned out to be a bunch of racists. And he dabbled in a podcast and the like and elevating some voices that shouldn't have been elevated. My big thing with Doug Wilson, though, is theologically his federal vision and things like that, which we don't need to get into in a conservative radio. However, while I'm not a huge fan of Doug Wilson, I do like Doug Wilson. Not a fan of a lot of his, a lot of what he does, but I recognize what he is doing in Moscow, Idaho is actually a pretty good thing. And he actually is a true believer in Scripture and the Bible and the inerrancy of the Word. And I celebrate his progress, even as I treat him somewhat skeptically. And look at Pete Hegseth. You all know the dirt on Pete Hegseth. He was a womanizer. He drank too much. He cheated on multiple wives. And then Pete Hegseth found a church that took its faith seriously and expected him to take his faith seriously. It happened to be a church tied to Doug Wilson. How can I hate a Christian ministry that turns lives around by believing in the real Word of God? And to the AP, that's arch-conservative belief. Y'all, I need you to know this about your host. I need you to know this about your host. I treat the Bible very seriously. I believe the Bible is the literal Word of God. Now, that does not mean that there isn't poetry. There is, and you have to read it differently. There's apocryphal works in the Bible. You have to read it different from the histories. But I believe it's the literal Word of God. So when it says that Jesus Christ was nailed to a cross and physically rose again from the dead, I believe it. When the Bible says he's born of a virgin, I believe it. When the Bible says God made man and the first man was named Adam and the first woman was named Eve, I believe it. When God says there was a global flood and Noah put 2 of every animal on the boat and took his family, I believe it. I believe it's real. I don't believe it's a metaphor. I don't believe it's apocryphal. I don't believe it's stolen or appropriated. I believe there's a common knowledge among ancient faiths, all of which talk about a global flood. I believe that global flood happened and the guy on the boat was named Noah. I do. I believe Jonah was swallowed by a big fish, not a whale. We interpret it as a whale. It was a big fish. You can actually read the Hebrew. I believe it. And so does Doug Wilson. And Doug Wilson believes marriage is between a man and a woman. And Doug Wilson believes that men and women are made complementarian. They're not equal. They each have a role to play. That role is different, and men are the head of the household. I believe it too. I believe that's the way the Bible is structured. And Doug Wilson is a jovial, laughing minister from Moscow, Idaho, who did an interview with CNN where he defended his faith. And he defended it winsomely, the way that all the progressives who hate evangelicals say we got to do. He was real winsome. I saw the interview. It was a great interview. I have theological differences with Doug Wilson, and I don't like the political experiment. I don't like the embrace of Christian nationalism. I know he doesn't believe in it as some do, but I think that it has been co-opted by people, and I think it's too clever by half to try to say, oh, no, I'm a Christian nationalist because I'm an American and I'm a Christian and think I should live my faith in Christ. And in the public square, I do too, but I refuse to use the phrase Christian nationalism because I think it's a loaded term that is off-putting. I think we should defend Christians in the public space, using their values and morality to defend themselves and define themselves and govern themselves and others when they're Christians. And frankly, I think if there were more Christians in the public space who were authentically Christian and actually believe this stuff, we'd be a better society. I'm thoroughly committed to the project of getting Christians elected, but I want Christians elected who are Americans who recognize we are a pluralistic society, and there are people who disagree with us, and we have to represent them too, instead of bending them to our faith or deciding that they can't be represented because they're not our faith. And there are some people who use the Christian label, Doug Wilson not being one of them, who do it. So that's why I don't use the Christian nationalist label. There are always people who decide to wrap themselves in a label others mean pejorative and own it, and I just don't think in this case it's helpful. Just be a Christian. You can be an American and you can be a Christian. I think a Christian nationalist adds to it some sort of political project that I frankly don't necessarily agree with in many cases. I'm a Christian. I think that abortion should be banned because I'm a Christian, because I believe life is sacred and precious. And so my political beliefs have to conform to my faith, not my faith to my political beliefs. I think we need to do more as a society to take care of the homeless and the poor. And I support a social safety net. I'm not a libertarian. I'm a conservative. I'm a Christian. I think we have an individual obligation to do it, but I think the government has a role to play. If nothing else, the government can foster regulation, reform for individuals and businesses to be able to take care of the poor and those in need. But I believe the government plays a role. I believe it should play a role because of my faith. And yet, here comes the Associated Press, and they try to make it a pejorative. They try to make it somehow icky. They try to make it somehow bad. Arch-conservative. Pete Hegseth was a fallen sinner. He found his way into a church that takes the Bible seriously and challenges his members to take the Bible seriously. And more importantly, unlike a lot of churches, mainstream and evangelical, holds its members accountable. Now, the question is, because he's a prominent political figure, do they hold him accountable as they should? Or do they turn a blind eye to some of it because, well, they like having the fame? That's a problem that a lot of churches who hold people accountable have to deal with. I myself, having gone to Reformed Theological Seminary, have come to terms with the fact that I can never be ordained within my denomination, because if I do, it would create a problem for them and a problem for me. You know, I write a column for World Magazine. They get complaints about me from people wanting them to hold me accountable. My church, my pastor, get complaints from people, some of whom are other pastors, wanting my church to hold me accountable for the things I've said or tweeted. My seminary, I haven't been in class in several years. I'm ready to get back. Guy Richard, if you're listening, I intend to come back. My seminary gets people demanding they suspend me, expel me, hold me accountable for things I've said, because these are people who don't like me and think somebody's told me accountable. I can never become ordained. I have loved the opportunity when I've gotten to preach. It is a challenge for me. I can stand on a stage for an hour and a half without notes and keep people entertained. I can sit behind this microphone for 3 hours on a daily basis and keep people entertained with no notes. Standing in a pulpit and preaching is a challenge because there's hellfire accountability. If you lead people astray, you got to take it diligently and seriously, and I appreciate the challenge. But I also appreciate how limited my opportunities are to preach on a Sunday because I'm a political guy on radio, and within my denomination, it can never happen. And I actually kind of like that because it's a barrier to me. I can't get boastful and proud because I know I'm never going to stand in the pulpit and preach in a PCA church because I can't go through ordination, because if I did, my presbytery on a weekly basis would have to call me up to have a hearing because some other yahoo somewhere complained. Had this conversation with Tim Keller one time where all the time his presbytery was having to deal with things people misunderstood him saying, that oftentimes they would get letters demanding he be held accountable for stuff he never said, but somebody online said he said it. And he was always dealing with this stuff. My poor presbytery, they'd be dealing with it more than Tim Keller's presbytery. But the idea that you should, that we can call the Communion of Reformed Evangelical Churches an arch-conservative Christian congregation of Christian nationalists or some such, because the AP wants to make them fringe, we should actually be celebrating them. We should be encouraging them. I can disagree with them on some areas theologically, and also recognize that when you have a guy like Pete Hegseth, who lived his life very publicly, fell away from multiple marriage, drank too much, womanized too much, and now he's a father to young boys, raising them in the Word, taking his faith seriously, we should look at that and say the power of the gospel through this church has been phenomenal, and we should want more of that in a society in decay. We shouldn't be treating it as spooky and scary. Hillsdale College actually has a great class on the rise of the Christian faith, even in the Roman Empire, and how it transformed lives. You can take that class and so many others. You can take the class on the Federalist Society, or not Federalist Society, the Federalist Papers. You go to erickforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, erickforhillsdale.com, and you sign up with Hillsdale College. You take the class at your own pace. Take the one on the Federalist Papers. I think there are 7 to 10 episodes. They're all 30 minutes each, and that's kind of the way they each work. Depending on the class, there are a certain number of episodes, 7 to 12. Each episode is 30 minutes long. It's a video lecture by a professor that's very engaging and very entertaining. You do it at your own pace. You come away more knowledgeable about the topic. You get a certificate of completion, and you don't pay a penny. Hillsdale College wants you to be able to do this on the house. You go to Eric, E-R-I-C-K, erickforhillsdale.com. Begin a relationship with Hillsdale College. You'll learn what sets them apart and makes them so unique. erickforhillsdale.com. Sign up with Hillsdale College today. Improve your mind and begin a relationship with a brilliant institution.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Old Glory Bank is my bank.
151
Your
Coolray
bank,
Carrier,
your bank.
WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory continues into Dorville out of Dunwoody with this crash. 285 east, the inner loop, Beaver Highway, exit 32. 3 center lanes are blocked. You're slow from Ashford Dunwoody. Take 400 south to 85 north. New crash, west side inner loop, left lane blocked. 285 northbound, the inner loop at I-20, exit 10. Traffic brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Get ready for another Powerball jackpot tomorrow. Powerball players can win millions playing in-store or online at galottery.com. Only from the Georgia Lottery. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
More local news.
Folk ground stop at the airport. Meanwhile, Governor Kemp reacting.
More traffic.
Interloop injury crash, 2 left lanes.
More weather.
This thunderstorm is capable of producing a quick spin up.
Atlanta's Morning News. Tomorrow morning at 5.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta starts its day.
The integrity this company has is amazing. They are just unbelievable, start to finish.
Meteorologist Glenn Burns loves his Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows from North Georgia Replacement Windows.
They made everything so easy. The planning, the installation was flawless. Just a perfect job, and now it just made such a difference in the house.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
Got a leaky pipe, heating, or cooling issue? Ace Hardware Home Services is around the corner with everything you need to fix it, including the expert to do the fixing. We're not just the helpful hardware folks. We're the helpful home service and repair folks, too. From plumbing to heating and cooling, the licensed and insured experts at Ace Hardware Home Services are ready to keep your home running smoothly all year long. Online at acehardwarehomeservices.com or call 770-233-7787.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT core body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey homeowners, it's Eric Erickson here. Do your windows and doors stick? Are you noticing cracks in the drywall or the brickwork? You might have a big problem. Serious issues need the serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, as are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
All Care is expert urgent care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs. All Care is a proud member of Piedmont Clinic with a team of physicians and clinicians who know you and your medical history, so they can provide the personalized care you deserve. And with both family and immediate care services offered 7 days a week at 15 Atlanta area locations, All Care also means saying goodbye to waiting days and days to see the doctor. Same-day appointments are available and walk-ins are welcomed. Remember, urgent care plus primary care equals All Care.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Get the podcast, live stream, email, and social media links by texting Eric to 33777 now.
Dana White says on July 4th of next year, there's going to be a UFC fight at the White House. That's kind of wild when you think about it. Yep, he says UFC will host its first ever White House fight on July 4th, according to CBS News. The Ultimate Fighting Championship stage a historic fight marking America's 250th birthday. It's going to happen, White told CBS Mornings. White said he spoke with Donald Trump Monday night about the event and plans to meet with Mr. Trump and Ivanka Trump at the end of the month to finalize details and review venue renderings. A source familiar with the planning confirmed the White House expects the event to happen. When he called me and asked me to do it, he said, I want Ivanka in the middle of this, White said. So Ivanka reached out to me, and her and I started talking about the possibilities, where it would be, and I put together all the renderings. This comes after a 7-year streaming deal with Paramount, worth an average of $1.1 billion annually, representing a significant shift from UFC's traditional pay-per-view model, with select events to be simulcast on CBS. The UFC is becoming a massive business. I'm not a fan. I turn it on the front porch for the guys. You can get them on ESPN. For the life of me, I don't understand why they don't do them on Sunday nights during the year when there's nothing else on TV. There's no football. The baseball games suck. There's no hockey. All you got is the WNBA that nobody wants to watch. Put the UFC on. But I don't know. I'm with Augustine on this. The gladiatorial fights and being a Christian, I just don't really want to watch people made in the image of God beating the ever-living hell out of each other on TV for sport. I don't. But a lot of my friends disagree, and I'm willing to turn it on and let them watch. And I make conversation and smoke my cigar and stare at my phone. But it's a big enterprise, and the president's a big fan. My only request, if somebody can get this to Dana White, please. I have one request here. If the UFC is really going to do a UFC fight at the White House on July 4th for our 250th birthday, it needs to be an American versus an Englishman, and they need to wear powdered wigs. And the Americans' trunk should be an American flag. I think be like Rocky, but cooler in an octagon. They got to beat the hell out of somebody from Britain. Needs to happen to celebrate our birthday, the 250th birthday. At the White House, they're doing this. It'll be an event for sure.
We've all been
Jam
there.
starting at Langford Parkway.
Counting the minutes before we know we're going to be late because we couldn't count on a traffic app.
Jam from I-85 down towards Ponce.
There is one thing you can count on. Triple team traffic on WSB.
Stay slow once you're inside the perimeter as well.
We know the highways. We know the streets. And we know the shortcuts.
75 northbound heading up to Cobb County through Marietta and Kennesaw.
And all you need to do is listen.
More experience.
More reliable. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Atlanta's best plumbers call Deep Dive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll have your pipes working again. DeepDivePlumbing.com.
At Coosa Valley Credit Union, we believe in kinder banking. That means speaking to a real person, a state-of-the-art website and mobile app, and kinder banking means offering our members the most competitive rates in the market. This is Andy Harris. Come see us at Coosa Valley Credit Union.
Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show for Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Looking for a new truck and looking for a great deal? Of course you are. Well, I have a great deal on the Tundra for you, and the only place you're going to find it, the only place you're going to hear about it is right here. Go to beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals and save money on your new Toyota Tundra. It's that easy. beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming is the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. New details on the shooting at the CDC.
The shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
GBI Director Chris Hosey says 30-year-old Patrick Joseph White peppered the CDC campus with about 200 rounds, striking 6 different buildings.
Additionally, over 500 shell casings have been recovered from the crime scene area.
5 guns were recovered at the scene, all belonging to White's father. Investigators believe White broke into his dad's safe and took the weapons. He was upset about the COVID vaccine. A DeKalb County police officer was killed in the shooting. It is 87 degrees in Atlanta. We have scattered showers and storms around the area right now, and there's more on the way tomorrow. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Nurses at the Atlanta VA protest federal cuts they say will impact staffing and mental health services for veterans. Registered nurse Dana Horton says the Trump administration's cuts are jeopardizing their ability to care for those who have served our country.
We want to make sure that they are cared for properly. We don't want them to be just a number, an appointment in the community. We want them to be here where they can get all their care here.
They say the cuts could slash veteran services by up to 50%. President Trump and Russian President Putin will meet in Anchorage, Alaska on Friday. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirms details of the summit today. The two leaders are set to discuss an end to the war in Ukraine.
The goal of this meeting for the president is to walk away with a better understanding of how we can end this war.
She says meeting face-to-face with Putin will give President Trump the best indication of how to end the war. All new at 2 o'clock, we're hearing from a Braves legend who's closing his sports bar near Truist Park.
Murph's, opened at the Cobb Galleria by Braves legend Dale Murphy and his wife Nancy, will shut its doors today. The restaurant, which opened in 2017, is being closed because of the major multi-million-dollar overhaul of the Galleria complex. Murphy tells me
it's been great, and we're looking forward to it. It's a sad day, but it's a fun day too.
He says he's learned a lot about the difficulties of the restaurant business, but he's enjoyed getting to connect with fans. As of right now, there are no plans to reopen the restaurant. In Cobb County, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Georgia's colleges and universities have a massive economic impact on the state. 2 new studies show the economic impact on Georgia tops $23 billion, a 5% increase from a year ago. Graduates of the university system earn over $1.4 million more with their college degrees during their lifetimes. It's now 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Beckers.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
When markets get rocky, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president and founder of Nicholas Wealth Management. Times like these demand action and a plan you can trust. That's why we rely on our trademark Retire Ready Bucket strategy. This strategy is designed to place a percentage of your portfolio into lower risk, income producing income bucket, aiming to generate steady cash flow for the first 10 to 15 years of retirement. Meanwhile, your growth bucket is filled with dividend and growth stocks, which has time to recover when markets are going crazy. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com to schedule a time to sit down with our team to review your plan. This strategy was crafted by experience. It's battle tested, and it's how you aim to keep your retirement on track even when the markets are not. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we're prepared. Are you? Don't wait for the next headline to shake your confidence. Call Nicholas Wealth today, 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management. Retire ready.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Neither the information nor any opinion expressed is to be construed as solicitation to buy or sell a security or personalized investment, tax, or legal advice.
It is 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. Not a good afternoon on the north side perimeter. Travel advisory continues with this crash. 285 eastbound, the Interloop Beeford Highway exit 32. It is knocking out 3 center lanes, and it has cooked the ride back to Ashford Dunwoody. Take 400 south to 85 north as an alternate. Now a travel advisory, west side perimeter. Crash in 2 left lanes, 285 northbound, the Interloop at I-20 exit 10. You can use 75-85 northbound as an alternate there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy with a high of 85. Watching for locally heavy rain showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon.
Storm tracker radar shows some heavy rain right now in northwest Cobb, moving into Cherokee County. It's 83 in Ackworth, 86 in Tucker, 87 in Hampton. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, would be very happy to have you. Housekeeping note for you on Friday. I'm going to do my best to be in 2 places at one time. I've got to do a hospital fundraiser for my affiliate, WOKV, down in Jacksonville. Going to be doing that. And also the show, part of this is going to have to be recorded to be able to accommodate that. We got the president headed to Alaska as well. It's going to be busy into the week here on the program. Be sure to tune in. I want to talk to you about the conspiracy theorists out there who are getting worked up about stuff. My flagship station is in Atlanta, Georgia. Not far from where we are headquartered is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It's by Emory University. And on Friday, there was a shooting at Emory, and there was a discombobulation as to what it was. Was it a shooting at a CVS? Was it actually on campus? Turns out it was a shooting, over 100 rounds, according to some press reports, fired at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A police officer was murdered in the shooting. The suspect himself died what his family says was essentially suicide by cop. He was mentally unwell and had become a conspiracy theorist. He had taken the COVID vaccine. He had ailments that occurred after the COVID vaccine. Allegedly, according to press reports, got it in his head. The COVID vaccine was to blame and went on a shooting spree at the CDC. It was huge news. It was covered live by pretty much every major network, and TV in Atlanta, of course, was all over it. It was a big deal. And you know, some of the early reports were that it was something that happened at a CVS or something, and he was, I think, ultimately shot at a CVS. But it actually was a big deal. It was essentially a attack on the government because the guy believed a bunch of conspiracy theories, tied a lot of stuff together, and became convinced that his COVID vaccine had given him all sorts of problems. And by the way, you should know there is some data that the COVID vaccine in some cases has caused people side effects. My wife refuses at this point to get the COVID vaccine. She has stage 4 lung cancer. She has gotten multiple rounds of the COVID vaccine, and it leaves her in bed for days on end, miserable. She's now had COVID several times, each time less bad than the last time. At this point, she's like, my immunity system is good. Her doctor has told her there is some evidence that if you have a bad reaction to the COVID vaccine and have not previously gotten COVID, there is evidence that that could actually be, you'd have a worse reaction to COVID. So he was glad she got it. We don't know. As you all now know, there's a lot of stuff they told us about COVID that did not turn out to be true. If you're a longtime listener to the program, you know I was willing to give the experts the benefit of the doubt for quite a while until it became obvious that they were just grappling with something they didn't understand, or they were making stuff up. Like, for example, I was willing to go along with the masks early on, but it became abundantly obvious that people weren't wearing them. To the extent they were wearing them, they weren't wearing them well. And to the extent that COVID could penetrate a mask, the particulate got smaller and smaller to the point where if you weren't wearing an N95 mask, which they weren't asking us to wear, there was no point. There's a lot of data that showed that early on masking was preventative, except a lot of people weren't wearing masks. They were at their houses, not wearing masks, having people over. They were getting COVID. What good does a mask do? And over time, it just became dumb to wear a mask. I see people wearing masks now, and they fall into two camps, white progressive or a black person. And black people, if you understand the history of COVID and how it affected the black community, when now there are waves of flu going around and other things, you're way more likely to see black families wearing masks now than you ever were before COVID because of what that disease and virus did in their community. And then, of course, you have the people who are worrywarts, who are white progressives, who they wear masks everywhere now. It's always funny when I go to, for example, Washington, D.C. or New York or San Francisco, you see way more masks than you see anywhere else. And it's typically white women. Listen, I'm not making judgments, and some people will say, well, they might have pre-existing conditions or what have you. No, in many cases, it's a upper income, retired white woman with her husband wearing cargo pants, and she's got him in a mask too. And they feel smugly superior. This is not a tirade on masks. I'm just saying, was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. It became very, very clear they weren't actually working. People weren't using them right. Why bother? And yet the 6-foot distance thing, I was mocking that back in the day because it was dumb. It never made sense. But they were just grappling. They were making stuff up. The vaccine I was an advocate of, and I told you, if you've got loved ones who are vulnerable, you should consider getting it. But it's on you. If you don't want the vaccine, that's fine. You know, there are a number of people, I find this very funny, there are a number of people who send me really angry hate mail about stuff they claim I said that I never said. And what's so funny is that they're getting me confused with a different radio show host. And I know who the radio show host is who did say the sayings that they're saying I said that I never said. But I was willing to believe the experts, give them the benefit of the doubt until it became clear that a lot of them really didn't know what the hell they were talking about. It is clear and true that there are side effects from the COVID vaccine that affect people, but also there are a lot of people who, for completely different reasons, have problems, and they're trying to find something to blame, and so they blame the COVID vaccine. It's like autism. There are people who are convinced vaccines cause autism. They are convinced. And they are convinced because they have gone down the rabbit holes online of people who are telling them what to believe. They don't realize they're being indoctrinated, and they are. If you want to know how I know that autism is not caused by vaccines, it's very simple. The rate of vaccinations globally has skyrocketed, and the rate of autism has not. If vaccines cause autism, there would be a corresponding increase in autism, and there's not. That's just very basic statistical knowledge. But at the same time, there have been studies after studies about the things put in vaccines, and yet Robert Kennedy Jr. is a notorious conspiracy theorist and horrible human being, and he's convinced by these things. So you have a guy who shoots up the CDC on Friday, and the Secretary of Health and Human Services gets to go down there, and he's a conspiracy theorist who stirred the pot and incited a lot of these people over time to go crazy, and he's there telling them how sorry he is. No, Robert Kennedy, to a degree, deserves some of the blame for inspiring the people who are the conspiracy theorists who want to shoot up the CDC, and now he's in charge of them. Shame on him. I saw him the other day say that doctors and pharmaceutical companies actually could cure these diseases, but it's actually a conspiracy to keep you sick because they make money off you when you're sick. Jonathan Sackler was one of the owners of Purdue Pharma, you know, the company that made OxyContin. He died. Cancer. He died of cancer. Jonathan Sackler was so committed to the conspiracy that he decided not to have his pharmaceutical company cure him of cancer. He decided to take one for the team and die of cancer to keep the gravy train going. Edmund Pratt was the CEO of Pfizer. At 75, he got sick and died quickly at Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Mr. Pratt took one for the team, decided to keep the conspiracy theory going, and instead of being healed by his pharmaceuticals, he decided to die. Jose Baselga was a renowned cancer researcher. He was the head of research for AstraZeneca, which came up with the drug Tagrisso, which keeps my wife from dying of cancer. He died of Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, a neurological disorder. Mr. Baselga, Dr. Baselga, was so committed to the conspiracy, he was willing to die of disease instead of having them cured. Or maybe, just maybe, there is no silver bullet for cancer. Maybe what people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. are telling you is a lie. And it's a damnable lie on his part because he's the Secretary of Health and Human Services. He actually said doctors and pharmaceutical companies are keeping you sick. They're not trying to heal you. By the way, there are people who believe this. There are people who believe it. There are people listening to me right now who I can see the phones lighting up. Charlie's not taking the phone calls from these crazy people who actually believe that the leading oncology researcher for AstraZeneca would rather die than save himself from a disease so that they can perpetuate the conspiracy. The head of Pfizer would rather die from an illness than get well to perpetuate the conspiracy. The head of Purdue Pharmaceuticals would rather die than be cured of cancer so they can perpetuate it. You have a bunch of these executives who are dying of cancer and other illnesses. You would think that they would preserve themselves, and they're not. Maybe it's because they don't have the cure to cancer that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. seems to think they have. Think about your family. I bet you have a doctor or a nurse somewhere in your family. Are they are they part of this vast medical community conspiracy to keep you sick, to keep you on drugs? You know why many of these doctors put you on drugs? I can tell you, because not from my doctor, but I can tell you from the guy I go to for physical therapy about my foot. I've got a problem with my heel I've been working physical therapy on. You know what he tells me? It's a lot easier for a doctor to put you on a pill than tell you to change your lifestyle. You'd rather blame the doctor and say, you're not giving me a cure. Well, your cure is to get out and walk 10,000 steps a day, and you're not going to do that because you're lazy, so take the pill instead. Lower your blood pressure that way. But God forbid you blame yourself. My wife, yesterday, we had a friend of ours die of cancer, brain cancer. What a horrible, horrible disease. She died yesterday morning. She fought bravely. She died. Many of you contributed to help the family while her husband had to take a leave of absence to tend to his dying wife. We got that news yesterday morning, and then my wife was denied her chemo medicine last night that keeps her alive. This happens every year. We don't know why. The pharmaceutical company doesn't seem to figure it out. The insurance company doesn't seem to figure it out. But every year, sometime around the end of July, beginning of August, my wife's cancer medicine is denied. Very kindly, the people at Optum, the pharmaceutical company that our insurance company uses that processes these claims, I put out a tweet yesterday, and it wasn't attacking them. It was just saying with metronomic regularity, every year, every single year for 9 years, this has happened. Can they not figure it out? And they figured out who my wife was based on me and reached out to her this morning and said they're on it. God bless them. I happen to have a large Twitter account where I can do that, but not everybody can. But I got to tell you, the cranks, the kooks, the conspiracy theorists, they're having a real moment in society, and they're turning violent because they're listening to crazy people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who are elevated into power, who say things that are not true, who really want you to believe that all these people in the pharmaceutical community, they're willing to die of diseases that they have the cures to because they don't want you to have the cure, so they won't take it either. That all these doctors and nurses that are in your families today, they are conspiring. And then you say, no, not the doctor in my family. It's the jerk down the street. It's his kid who's a doctor. He's in the conspiracy. And that guy's like, it's not my kid. It's the guy up the street. That kid, he's the one who's covering it. Or maybe the doctors actually want to keep you well, and maybe they know it's easier to give you a pill than get you to take 10,000 steps a day. And maybe there actually is no silver bullet cure for cancer that includes your frankincense oil that your Ponzi scheme, mid-level marketing scheme friends are selling to try to convince you to drink it and cure cancer. That, oh my gosh, the number of people who've told my wife that frankincense oil would cure her cancer, it'd make your head explode. I would be a billionaire, honestly, if I had a nickel for every one of these essential oil people who say frankincense cures cancer. Maybe, just maybe, there aren't silver bullets and magic beans. And maybe we do a disservice to people who are struggling with health care to give them false hopes and seed their minds with conspiracy theories that they turn violent and try to shoot up the CDC because the boss of the CDC is out there on social media telling people that pharmaceutical companies are making people sick instead of trying to get them healed. It's frankly irresponsible, but God forbid we should have a Health and Human Services secretary who's actually committed to health and human services.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
221 Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory continues out of Dunwoody into Dorville with this crash. Been there a while. Still in 3 center lanes. At times, just 1 to 2 left lanes open. 285 eastbound, the Interloop Beaver Highway exit 32. Take 400 south to 85 north. And the crash, 285 northbound, the Interloop at I-20 exit 10 in Fulton County moved off to the right. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Now at Whole Foods Market, save on organic blackberries or raspberries with Prime. Get 2 half pints for $7 through August 12th. Enjoy best of season produce while supplies last. Shop in store or online. Terms apply. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
The Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifies 57 sets of cremains.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
We've got it covered.
Atlanta jurors convict a former Customs and Border Protection officer.
Your 24/7 news source.
Covering the stories that impact you.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
If someone causes you to lay your bike down, hiring proper representation is critical. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. Don't hire a lawyer because of slick commercials. Hire a local lawyer that specializes in motorcycle injury law. You can trust my friends at Steel Horse Law. Attorney George Stein is a rider and understands bikers' needs. Steel Horse Law has represented thousands of local riders and can maximize the value of your recovery. Schedule your free consultation at steelhorselaw.com.
RhinoShield.com.
Jeff and Roxanne here, proud and local owners of Rhino Shield, the ultimate exterior coating for your home.
Rhino Shield isn't just paint, it's better than paint because it will keep your home beautiful, backed by a 25-year transferable warranty. Plus, it comes in any color, even your wife's favorite.
Visualize Rhino Shield on your home and get a free estimate at RhinoShieldGA.com.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit exovations.com.
Hey, business owners, do you have managed IT services where it's somebody else, not a full-time in-house on the payroll guy managing your computers? You should check with Vision Computers for managed IT services. At least get a quote from them. Call them at 404 Compute. Tell them I sent you. You could save a lot of money, and your employee productivity could go up. Why? Because instead of creating a ticket every time something breaks, they can talk to a real person. So a lot of studies are out there. Y'all know them. Employees don't like to create IT tickets. They kind of feel dumb when they have to. Instead, they can get on the phone in 15 seconds or less, get the answer to what's going on. It's shockingly low compared to what you're probably paying right now, and it's 15 seconds or less on the phone. It's the biggest no-brainer in business tech support. Vision Computers. Call them at 404 Compute. Tell them Eric sent you. At least talk to them. What do you have to lose? Get a quote from Vision Computers for their managed IT support. Call them at 404 Compute nationwide.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You can be live on Eric's show by calling 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425.
There's a major meteor shower tonight. What is it? The Perseids or Perseids? I can't pronounce it. Perseids meteor shower. The Perseid meteor shower. It's going to be big. Now, it is set to peak, unfortunately, at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, which means that those of us in the United States are going to miss out on the biggest part of it. However, you can still see a lot of meteors, and this is one of the ones where you can even see the meteor showers, though the moon is just off being full. It's not going to be as brilliant as you would otherwise have it if the moon were a new moon and were very dark out, but you could still expect to see 10 to 20 meteors per hour tonight across the country, and I intend to sit in my hot tub. I got a dinner tonight, and when I get home from my dinner, I intend to climb in my hot tub, turn off the lights in the backyard, And watch the meteor shower because the odds are really good. You're going to see some great meteors tonight. I'm excited to see them. Also, in news out there, by the way, when we come back, I do want to actually spend time on what do we actually do about crime. I really, 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 really think it's worth noting. But I want to focus on a bit of data real quick. I mentioned the AP attacking Pete Hegseth at his church earlier. The Family Research Council noted there have been 415 hostile acts targeting 383 churches across 43 states in the past year. That's actually an increase in attacks on churches in this country. The violence on churches and temples and synagogues, Jewish temples and synagogues, is growing in this country. It is not declining, and we should all be mindful of that as the media stokes hostility towards people of faith. Right now, there's a lot of hostility towards you using cash in this country. They want you to use a debit card. They want you to use a credit card. More and more restaurants don't want you to use cash. The people behind the register don't know how to count it. It's a secret war on cash that the government is helping foment, and Swiss America wants to help you navigate through it and protect your hard-earned cash. You can get their report, The Secret War on Cash, completely free. All you do is call or text 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency, and it's spreading. The Secret War on Cash report is completely free to all of you. You just mention my name, Eric, when you call or text 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, SwissAmerica.com/ERICK, or just text Eric, ERICK, to 800-289-2646. 2646. Let Swiss America help you. Message and data rates may apply.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
So if you can't handle your real face, then don't tell me how to handle my life.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
They have a lot more money now because they stopped kneeling.
Eric Von Hessler.
Things are going to get broken.
Eric Von Hessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. New details today on the shooting at the CDC.
Close to 200 rounds impacted 6 of the CDC buildings.
GBI Director Chris Hosey says investigators recovered documents indicating 30-year-old Patrick Joseph White was upset about the COVID-19 vaccine.
There was no direct threat, as I'll refer to it within it, but it was his making the public aware, in his words, of his discontent with the vaccines.
The GBI says White broke into his father's safe and took 5 guns. He killed himself, but not before killing a DeKalb County police officer. Plans are in place for President Trump's meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday. The White House says the meeting will take place in Anchorage, Alaska. The two leaders will discuss how to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke by phone today with his Russian counterpart to talk about preparations for the meeting. Atlanta Braves legend Dale Murphy is closing his restaurant at the Cobb Galleria today.
It's a sad day. I mean, no question about it. We got great memories.
The closure comes ahead of a major $190 million renovation and expansion project at the Galleria. Tropical storm Erin is rapidly moving west over the Atlantic Ocean. The National Hurricane Center says Erin could strengthen into a hurricane by late Thursday. Meteorologist Christina Edwards tells me it is too early to tell if this storm will impact the U.S. coast, but we should know more by the weekend. It is now 2:32, and this news is sponsored by FGA Roofing. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
The summer heat will make that crack in your wall expand. You have foundation problems. Dave Baker here. AquaGuard Foundation Solutions will find and fix your issues with a customized plan. Get your free evaluation at aquaguard.net.
AquaGuard. At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Don't miss this great deal on large avocados or mangoes. They're on sale now, 3 for only $5 with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Atlanta's best plumbers call Deep Dive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll have your pipes working again. DeepDivePlumbing.com.
When you own a business, it feels like everything's on you. Orders, deliveries, employees, on you. That's why Comcast Business is giving you a year of mobile on us with your internet service.
Really?
Yep. We'll cover your first line of mobile for 1 year. So calling customers, getting directions, texting Janine and shipping, on us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you, which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots on us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year, you guessed it, on us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/22/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of one unlimited intro line apply via 12 monthly internet bill credits. One discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data in service areas. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence 2H24.
Hey homeowners, it's Eric Erickson here. Do your windows and doors stick? Are you noticing cracks in the drywall or the brickwork? You might have a big problem. Serious issues need the serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, as are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Bringing some better news to those traveling 285 eastbound between Sandy Springs, Dunwoody, and Doraville. Bill, they cleared that crash at Buford Highway, exit 32. All lanes are back open, so hopefully those delays will start to improve. Crash gone as well, 285 northbound, the Interloop I-20, exit 10 on the west side. And a crash cleared in Cherokee County, 575 southbound, approaching Ridgewalk Parkway, exit 9. Still a few brake lights from 6's Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy with heavy rain and thunderstorms through the course this afternoon and this evening. Some of these storms may produce some locally heavy downpours. Today's high is 85, lows tonight in the low 70s. More scattered storms in the forecast for tomorrow with a high of 84.
86 now in Locust Grove, 79 in Dallas, 86 in Sugar Hill. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Politics and culture with clarity.
Hello, my friends. I want to spend here the last little bit of the program with you on actually the practical ways to deal with the crime problem in the country, because it can be done. You know, when Rudy Giuliani was mayor of New York City, he actually launched a significant crackdown on crime that Mike Bloomberg continued, and New York was safe until they elected the communist Bill de Blasio, and crime started going through the roof. And there's a recurring pattern in this country when it comes to dealing with crime, and that is very simply that white progressives do not like to acknowledge crime. To solve crime in this country, you cannot leave it in the hands of people who think trans women are women, because they're not grounded in reality. And progressives are not grounded in reality, so they're not capable of dealing with crime. Democrats have time and time again been bad on crime, weak on crime, soft on crime, lenient to criminals, because it is their philosophical composition to not recognize crime, because progressives are convinced that we are all blank slates and we can all be good. Society can sing Kumbaya and cure us of our predilections. The problem is every Christian in this country knows we're all born sinners and we live in a fallen world. And if you're willing to recognize that we are inherently sinners and bad, you can start dealing with crime. And one of the best ways to deal with crime is known as the broken window theory. Now, right now, one of you is reaching for your keyboard or the phone to call or to type and tell me the broken window theory of crime has been discredited. Except in real-world use, it was never discredited. It was a philosophical project of progressives to discredit the broken window theory of crime. The broken window theory of crime has worked in every city it's ever been implemented in. The statistics are there, lies, damn lies, and statistics, but you got the statistics that show it. You got the data that shows it. You have the real-world evidence of the cities that used it that no longer do, that where you no longer feel safe. Washington, D.C. is one of those. New York City is another. The broken window theory of crime is very simple. You enforce aggressively the laws on the lesser crimes, and it stops the major crimes from happening. It's called the broken window theory because if you see a vacant building and a window is broken, and that window remains broken for a prolonged period of time, it's a sign to the criminals that the building is abandoned. And the criminals move into the abandoned building, take it over, and set up shop. And the petty thieves are over time replaced by the drug dealers, over time replaced by the ardent gang members. And the crime gets more and more violent. When Rudy Giuliani was mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani, a former federal prosecutor, embraced the broken window theory of crime. And what happened? His city went after the small crimes. So they went after the abandoned buildings that were in bad shape. They forced them to either be torn down so you could not hide inside them, or to get them fixed in ways that suggested people were actively monitoring the buildings. Mike Bloomberg randomly stopped and frisked people. He was attacked as a racist because it happened to be deployed in parts of the city that were predominantly black. What Mike Bloomberg argued, successfully in court I might add, was that he wasn't targeting the black community. He was targeting where pockets of crime were. And guess what? When they randomly deployed stop and frisk in those areas, crime went down. Progressive white people want to make themselves feel better by screaming racism about everything. And law enforcement, because it disproportionately targets criminals, and a lot of criminals happen to be in the black community, they'll guess what? Guess who gets arrested? Young black men. Remember when the left went nuts over anti-Asian violence after the white guy in Atlanta shot up a brothel because he was a sex addict and convinced himself killing the prostitutes in the Asian-themed massage parlor would cure him of his sex addiction? They were like, oh, there's anti-Asian hate from all these white people. We got to stop it. The moment the data showed it was young black men who were causing the problem, they shut down the whole stop anti-Asian hate. Progressives, burdened by their white guilt, see the disproportionate failures in the black community with crime and think, well, this is racism to stop it. But what's really going on here is that the reason a lot of urban communities, not just black communities, but poor white communities in parts of the country as well, have failed is because of progressive policies. And progressives can't recognize, can't acknowledge, and can't admit that their policies failed the black community and the poor white community in Appalachia and in the Rust Belt. And so instead they scream racism and they scream all sorts of malarkey about meanness of government and meanness of law enforcement. You want to crack down on crime? Use the broken window theory of crime. Start forcing landlords with derelict buildings to either fix them up or tear them down. Go into the slums and tear down the houses that are in shambles. Clear out the lots so there's nowhere for the criminals to hide. Enforce criminal laws when it comes to jaywalking. Enforce vehicular laws when it comes to broken lights, missing tags, blocking the box at intersections. Enforce those. Rudy Giuliani would have police officers at every intersection in Manhattan during rush hour traffic. If you block the box, that is, you know how the square is formed at the intersection where the lanes are going in opposite directions. Blocking the box meant you would roll into that intersection, the light would turn red, and you were stuck, and now the traffic couldn't proceed. He had police officers at every intersection in New York City with a book of tickets, and the moment you blocked the box and the light changed, they rushed out, they wrote you a ticket. And guess what? People stopped blocking the box and traffic could proceed. Law enforcement could proceed. Ambulances could proceed. Fire trucks could proceed because you weren't causing gridlock anymore. They blocked the box. You got gridlock. They forced you, gave you a ticket when you did it. Suddenly it went away, and the police were able to proceed in the city quicker. And then they started enforcing all the other laws. They cracked down on the small petty larcenies. They cracked down on the shoplifting. They cracked down on all those things. And guess what? Murders went down. Burglaries went down. Rapes went down. Why? Because if you were cracking down on the petty thieves, the big thieves didn't have a chance to get a foothold in the city. It wasn't hard. It was difficult at first because you had to have buy-in from a community of progressives who were convinced that it was all racist. And guess what happened? It got so successful and lowered crime so much, the progressives, never one with a sense of history, forgot. And so they stopped doing it, and crime came back. It's going to take time for the progressives to call themselves liberals again and the liberals to realize you got to take policing seriously. But you and your community, you don't have to do like the progressives. In my morning piece on my Substack and on social media, I put up the map. You can see it on my Instagram page at E.W. Erickson on Instagram. I put up the quadrants of Washington, D.C. If you overlay where all the murders in 2024 are to the demographics of the city, what you find is that overwhelmingly the murders are happening in areas that are overwhelmingly black. It's not racist to point it out. It's the truth. And the truth is also that progressives have decided law enforcement is discriminatory. And so they would rather the black mothers and black fathers of Washington, D.C. and Atlanta, Georgia and New York City and Chicago, Illinois be without their kid who gets gunned down than keep their kid safe. God forbid we send in the police to crack down on an area. God forbid we get the police to do their jobs. No. So that white progressives can sleep at night, the poor sections of communities, overwhelmingly black, they must be crime infested. As long as the crime stays in the poor black area of town, the white progressives sleep well at night because they don't get to see it. They don't have to see it. They don't have to hear it. They don't have to know about it. They don't have to deal with it. So they can say with a straight face, I live in the city and there's no crime. You don't live in the city. You live in the fancy part of the city. You live in the fancy community. You live in the upper west side. You live in the Ward 3 in Washington, D.C. You live in Buckhead in Atlanta. You don't have to deal with the violence. You don't have to deal with the crime on a regular basis because you don't see it, because you don't live there. You're protected in your community. But what about the poor family, the poor white family, the poor black family, the poor Hispanic family that lives in an area where the criminals have invaded because property is cheap, people don't keep it up, and they've invaded the abandoned houses and turned them into gangland headquarters. Tear those houses down, you get rid of their headquarters. Make people cut the grass in their yards, enforce those laws. The neighborhood looks good, the property values go up, you price the criminals out of the neighborhood. This isn't hard stuff. It just takes the will to be hated by progressives to do it. And then there's something else you can do, and this is the hard part. You can build relationships with the local police. My buddy John King, he's the insurance commissioner, Georgia. He was running for the U.S. Senate. He stepped back from that race, didn't get the traction he hoped for. He's going to run again for insurance commissioner. He's a fantastic insurance commissioner. I wish him well, gladly supporting his reelection for insurance commissioner in the state of Georgia. He was a beat cop in Atlanta. Told me the story that back in the day after Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, you know what his job was as a beat cop in Atlanta? He had to walk Coretta Scott King to the church and get her home at night. Think about that. The widow of Martin Luther King Jr., living in Atlanta near Ebenezer Baptist Church, had to be escorted by a police officer at night because the gangbangers didn't care about who she was. They couldn't have cared less. So she needed police to protect her in her own community. An iconic woman married to a martyr of the civil rights movement. The gangbangers couldn't have cared less. And yet the white progressives, they think we got to leave that community to police its own and take care of its own. We can't bring in the white police officers. No, you bring in the white police officers, the Hispanic police officers, the black police officers, and you build relationships in the community. You get to know each other. You do local law enforcement, community policing. When I was on my city council, there was an area of my community that is notoriously the worst area in the city. You don't go to it. The police don't like to go to it. The police actually got a grant to allow police to live in the neighborhood, and the argument was you move police into the neighborhood, guess what's going to happen? You're going to make the neighborhood safer. The police didn't want to live in the neighborhood. That's how crime-ridden the neighborhood was. But you know what the neighborhood had? It had a bunch of abandoned houses. The city didn't want to tear down the houses because some of the owners were non-white, and that would have been racist. So the abandoned houses stayed more and more derelict. The gang members moved in, and the gang members fixed them up. Squatting in the houses became gangland central. Had they gone in and torn down the houses, the gangs wouldn't have been able to take root. Had they deployed more community policing, if they could have kept people safer. There are ways to fight crime. And you know the number one way that you fight crime in this country? You don't vilify the police. They're willing to put their life on the line so that you have a safer community. There are bad cops. There certainly are. There are bad doctors. There are bad lawyers. There are bad police officers. We live in a fallen world. Of course there are. But also, The people who are out there putting their lives on the line to keep your community safe, you don't vilify them. And the left loves to vilify cops, and it's demoralizing to the police. You don't demoralize the police. You don't discredit the police. You let them actually police. You're going to make your community safer. It's actually not rocket scientists. No, we don't need more social workers in these communities. We actually do need more police in these communities. You do that, you make it safer. To the phones, Chio, I'm going to let you be the last call today. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much. I listen to you every day, man. God bless you. I don't agree with everything you say, but you're my man, though.
Thank you.
Anyway, listen, I'm a retired law enforcement officer. I did 35 years. I was part of 911. You know, my family were police officers, corrections officers. Man, there must have been about 30 of us throughout the family that were bosses. My dad wore Korean War, 82nd Airborne. Let me tell you something. I came up with an idea. Oh, thank you, man. And, you know, thank you for backing us police officers up, man. I came up with an idea, right? In New Jersey, I can use an example. What the governor did in New Jersey was make state correction officers and city correction officers full police officers. So now they're responsible for taking care of Jersey. Well, what I think they should do, they should consolidate all the police departments because corrections, sheriffs, they're law enforcement officers. So how about eliminating all these millions of dollars, and for overtime, they can work out on the street. They can work in their neighborhoods for overtime. I've spoken to police officers. I'm a member of the Fraternal Order Police of, oh, my God, 35 years. Put them out on the streets when they get out the jails. They would love to do that. I spoke to so many people that I know that would love to work out on the street and take care of their communities and other communities also. So don't you think Donald Trump should consolidate and give, even though in some states, you know, corrections and sheriffs don't have law enforcement status, make it nationwide. And that'll eliminate millions of dollars of money, and we also can have them 24/7, man, doing overtime out on the street.
Look,
that will damn near eliminate crime.
I got to tell you, I think it's a great idea if they want to do it. Now, it's going to be a state issue, not a federal issue. But the president and Congress could give grants. I mean, the Justice Department could give grants to cities to do this. So you got a guy who's worked at the jail. He wants to have law enforcement in his neighborhood. He wants to keep it safe. He's probably got the car that already in his driveway that says he's law enforcement coming home at night. Let him do it. Yeah, I think it's a great idea because if you're going to give them the badge, let them keep their neighborhood safe if they want to. Don't make them, but if they want to, let them do that as opposed to saying you're in law enforcement, but you're not allowed to police your own neighborhood. Let them police their neighborhood. Let them play. Speaking of my neighborhood, we got a guy down the street in the back of our neighborhood who is law enforcement, but he's not police. I got to tell you, that guy keeps his whole neighborhood in line right now. Give him some expanded authority. Might as well. It's not a bad idea. Man, thank you, by the way. Thank you for your service and your family service, and thank you for calling. Thank you very much. Now, I got to tell you about Vision Computer before I get out of here. You got managed IT. I've been talking a lot about managed IT in large part because I'm in a building and this law firm by me moved out. My gosh, y'all should have seen the computer equipment they moved out, and they got rid of their IT. Well, their IT guy quit. He got overwhelmed. And so they had all this equipment, and they're moving it. They're taking it to their new, bigger offices, and they don't have anybody internal to do it. They've been trying to find a contractor to come in and put this stuff together, and then they got managed IT, and one of the assistants was complaining that they can't actually talk to someone. They used to have the guy in the office, and now they got an email. They don't know where it's coming. They have a little chat button on their computer they can click and type in their problems, and eventually AI catches up to them. And I'm like, y'all should call Vision Computers because you get somebody on the phone. You call them at 404 Compute and say, can you manage our IT for us for our company? We don't have an in-house guy. 15 seconds or less, that phone is going to get answered. Your assistant doesn't have to try to figure out a group chat or an email. You just pick up the phone, you call somebody, they answer the phone, they take care of you, you get back to work. So you have less downtime. You're dealing with human beings. What do you have to lose? Give them a call. They'll probably keep you up online more, make you more productive. 404 Compute or visioncomputers.com. Now listen as well. You as a consumer, you need a new computer. Your kid's going back to school, your kid's going to college, you need a computer for your kid. reach out to Vision. They can build one, and that IT support comes with that computer for your kid at college, for you at home. You get the phone number, you call 15 seconds or less. Somebody answers the question. Your kid's at college has a computer problem with their computer. They got it from Vision Computers. They have built-in IT support for their computer. And if you just want the IT support for your computer, your kid's computer, it's $199 a year. You get a discount if you say Eric sent you. So call them at 404-COMPUTE. Tell them Eric sent you. Save some money. Keep online. Keep productive. Get your computers going again with Vision Computers.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
253 Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. All lanes blocked and reopened again on the west side inner loop. 285 northbound past Cascade Road, exit 7. They got another crash off to the right there, so still recovering from Highway 166 Langford Parkway. And we're still a little slow. It's going to stay that way for the afternoon in Dorville. 285 east, the inner loop, leaving Peachtree Boulevard. All that traffic now trying to get onto 85 north. Traffic brought to you by Active Pest Control. Enjoy a pest-free home with Active Pest Control's pest-free 365 service. For your free, no-obligation quote, call or visit ActivePestControl.com today. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It doesn't have to be like this.
You don't have to put up with it.
Shutting down the ramp from 285 east.
You don't have to sit in it.
It takes almost 30 minutes to go 400 south.
And you don't have to look at your phone to get out of it.
It is Atlanta traffic, and getting you out of it is what we do best.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
Updated traffic as often as you need it from local traffic reporters 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It's a jackknife tractor trailer.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta gets there.
Y'all, it's Eric. I know some of you are concerned about tariff prices impacting things in your lives, including kitchen remodels. Well, listen to this. You can book an appointment this month with Frugal Kitchens and get the Frugal Price Lock. They will lock you into pre-tariff prices. All you got to do is Google Frugal Kitchens for details, and they're offering 0% financing. You want your kitchen remodeled. You want to add value to your home. You're worried about tariffs. Here's your opportunity. Google Frugal Kitchens. Start that kitchen redesign today.
If you've been taught that all bread is unhealthy, I'm here to tell you not if it's real bread. Hi, I'm Sue Becker from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. If you're struggling with weight gain, high cholesterol, constipation, even warts, or kids who seem to be constantly sick, come visit us at the Bread Becker store in Woodstock, where we have taught thousands of customers that real bread might be their healthy solution. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of real whole grains and bread. I discovered that store-bought bread has had most of the nutrients in the grain removed during milling, and yes, even packages labeled 100% whole wheat. Make a healthy eating change in your life at Bread Beckers in Woodstock. We'll show you how bread, but only real bread, might be the answer to your family's physical ills. The Bread Beckers.
Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
It's time to take advantage of Zerorez Carpet Cleaning's Back to School BOGO sale. For a limited time, when you get 2 rooms of carpet cleaned, you'll get 2 more rooms cleaned absolutely free. That's right, 4 clean rooms for the price of 2. Just mention WSB Radio when you schedule and be sure to use promo code BOGO at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Hurry, this offer won't last long. That's ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the award-winning online learning program.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Designed by education experts, ABC Mouse seamlessly aligns with what your child is already learning in school. And with over 10,000 learning activities and more than 850 lessons, it's an engaging and comprehensive curriculum. More info at abcmouse.com/radio.
I have been teaching for 13 years, and I've never seen a program like ABC Mouse. It encompasses science, math, reading, social studies.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials. Sponsored by Age of Learning.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I do try to tell you the truth. And the truth is the Associated Press cannot help itself, from the Pete Hegseth arch conservative church story to this headline by Matt Brown. Trump's rhetoric about D.C. echoes a history of racist narratives about urban crime. Can the press can they not be serious? There are crime problems in urban areas. Every single one of you knows the parts of your community that it's not safe to go. And I bet you, it's a mostly non-white part of the city. Instead of screaming racism, maybe ask why that is and figure out how to fix it.
I'm Chris Chandler, and when you join us Wednesday, starting at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, previewing the Google gadgets in store at a big launch event, and Clark Howard's found a troublesome new wrinkle in online shopping on 95.5 WSB.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
If you're moving your money from one retirement plan to another, or let's say you've left an employer where you had a 401k and you've requested your money to move to your own IRA, beware and be wary. More and more of these transfers are being done by, believe it or not, paper check. These paper checks getting stolen in the mail, and then your retirement savings are wiped out. Pay close attention to the movement of that money. When you request a transfer, if you don't see that money come in a check really quickly, you need to contact the company sending you the money immediately so that you're on record, so that the burden of proof of replacing that check goes to them and your money doesn't fly away. I'm Clark Howard.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio. News is sponsored by Dr. Roof. Our top local story, new details emerging today about the CDC shooter. Investigators say the man accused of gunning down a DeKalb County police officer during the attack on the CDC took his own life.
30-year-old Patrick Joseph White was found dead inside a nearby CVS shortly after allegedly firing dozens of shots at CDC buildings and killing DeKalb County police officer David Rose. GBI Director Chris Hosey says they've recovered 5 firearms from the scene, all belonging to White's father.
All indications in our investigation was that they were secured and that he forced his way into the safe that contained the weapons.
Investigators have also recovered documents that indicate White was upset about the COVID-19 vaccine. In DeKalb County, Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
The GBI today releases a photo of the suspect. It's posted now at WSBradio.com. 89 degrees in Atlanta. Heavy rain and storms around the area this afternoon. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Nurses at the Atlanta VA protest federal cuts they say will slash staffing and mental health